Oh God, that camera angle is.
This is some next level production value, guys.
Yeah.
We are. You guys.
We brought in a European guest, and we brought in the European production at the same
Just
time.
right off the bat. That makes it really awkward that I was about to make an amateur porn joke because.
Oh,
Yeah, but amateur porn has better production value at the end.
oh, come on, dude! It's like 30 seconds in, man.
Yeah, welcome to Greatest League Talkshow. A little more off the cuff.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Welcome to Greatest League Talkshow, guys. I'm Scarra, one of your normal hosts. MarkZ over there trying to fix the camera because our production is just excellent. And today we have a special guest, Daniel Drako, joining us. Why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Drako. I cast the EU LCS. I hosted plans. I do a little bit of both, and now I'm here to get shit on for EU production, apparently.
Sorry, man. You got to take one for the team, for your entire region. Anyways, we're going to start off today's show with a little bit of a pre-show. We'll talk a little bit because this was really last minute, so we have to wait for people to get in. We didn't even have like an exact time or date for this until very, very last minute. And we'll probably just talk over some normal stuff before it happens. And before that, I'm waiting on Mark to finish this production stuff.
It'll be a minute, all right? Don't.
I love how production stuff is moving the tripod left and right.
Well,
like,
it's more than that,
That's
right?
the pinnacle of production stuff.
Yeah.
I gotta zoom in the camera a little bit because it's super punched out. Like.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, for anyone who's curious, the first topic and what we're probably going to talk about the most in the pre-show is the North American LCS 2018 franchise format. I did not practice that. That just came off the cuff.
Look, you got it, man. You're killing it. Do you want to host the LCS?
I mean, you should see most of his tosses.
Yeah, they're terrible. Like, that one, just complete luck. You know, the Blue Moon stuff.
To be fair, no one wrote anything for you. You didn't have a teleprompter. Like, you're doing fine, man. You're doing just relax.
Yeah, Riot gets baby. They got teleprompters everywhere. They got people cueing them in the ear, and then I'm just here. It's all natural, baby, right here.
Best part is that in the teleprompter on the center camera is really tiny, and I just cannot read it for shit. So I
really?
read the first word. Like, I think Dash can read it fine, but I probably need glasses. Like, my eyesight's okay, but it's just not perfect.
Oh, yeah.
So I read the first line. It's like, welcome back to the else, and I just bullshit the rest. Just and I feel so bad because our writer puts so much work into those lines, and he's a good writer. His name's Elias. He's top notch. But every time we go open the show, it's like, hey, I can read that first word, and past that, we're just gonna see what comes out of my mouth. Who knows?
Dude, that's the secrets of Riot production, dude. They're so talented, they don't need any of that extra stuff. No.
Whew, goddamn, it's so hot up here.
Yeah, what the heck?
Dude, I dig the Chinese staircase though. You're super cool apartment.
Yeah, they custom built this in their apartment.
Yeah, super cool. Is this the one that came from IKEA? You know?
Yeah, the staircase.
Yeah.
Holy
I'm gonna
moly!
be washed out soon or whatever.
All right, you guys good? Are we good?
I feel pretty good.
How's it look?
I'll show you, dude. I think it looks.
We're gonna do do you want to do like an audio?
Clap.
Well,
audio.
we're not gonna sync audio for this, so it doesn't matter. It looks not bad, you know.
It's been worse, for sure.
I'll go with that. The audio is perfect this time, or pretty good this time.
Anything being perfect is just not true about this.
Yes, and the camera looks okay, and we're gonna settle with that. So, anyways, welcome to the Greatest League Time pre-show. Let's just get it on the way. Let's talk about the LCS format.
You kick it off because I did not have a chance to read the
Okay.
Reddit post, so I don't want to say too much. So you tell me exactly what's in there.
All right, let me do this.
And then I'll talk about it.
So, in the beginning of LCS, we did double round robin best of ones, and Riot was like, you know what? We're gonna go the best of threes, and it's gonna be much more competitive, and teams are gonna get better. And now, after a little bit, Riot's like, you know what? Our fans don't like watching best of threes because they're too long. So because of that, we're now back to best of ones, double round robin again. It means every team plays every other team twice throughout the season, so every team plays 18 games.
All right. So 100% back to the same format. No unique things.
No, I think they're doing it across 2 days a week as well. So that's kind of surprising, to be honest, but makes sense, right? It's the same thing as the old format. Best of ones. There we go. So I'm going to start it off. It's better than the old format. It's not perfect.
When you say old format, you mean previous.
I mean the previous. So I'm a person who does Greatest League Talkshow. So I'm forced to watch every single game. Forced, because some games, bottom tier games, Envy versus Echo Fox, those level of games, maybe I don't want to watch the whole best of three, but I have to for the show, right? So because of that, and because even if I'm a fan of two different teams, I can't watch both teams on two streams. So I think whatever happens, they need to axe two streams, 100%. After that, best of ones, I prefer from a viewing perspective. I don't know if I like it from a competitive perspective, but still, I think overall the format is better than the last one. I said on Twitter, I prefer best of twos. I think best of two format plus single streams is better, but you're from Europe. You tell me what you think about best of twos.
All right. So honestly, I think for competitive formats, I think best of two is probably ideal, but I think people hate it. I think right now people are going to probably romanticize it a little bit because they're scared of best of ones. But when we had best of two, no one said best of two was good. Everyone was like, gee, we don't have a winner. No one comes out of this decided on top. People are big on having a winner, and best of two doesn't give you that. I think best of two is good because it rewards consistency. That 2-0, it takes out, you get one red side, one blue side. But honestly, I think I actually really like best of one, not just for the thing where you can, it's really easy to keep up with your team. You cut out having two streams so you can actually watch, let's say you're a TSM fan, all the TSM games in a week pretty easily without having to watch 6 hours of League of Legends. And I also just think, personally, it's exciting in a lot of cases because you're much more likely to have some crazy upsets because ultimately, let's say TSM versus Echo Fox gets game one. You're still like, all right, TSM takes this series. It's not, it doesn't mean anything to you.
People did, I think, numbers for what would happen if TSM was played, last split was played on this format. I think they would have ended the league 4th or 5th. And that's pretty crazy for a team that ended the league first to do that, you know? And for me, I have no problem with that. Like, I think the normal season doesn't matter that much. And then, like, when you get to playoffs, there's still going to be a playoff. They're still going to be winning this season.
Yeah, I think ultimately people really, really like the idea of figuring out who is the best in the regular season, but I think that's what playoffs are for, in my opinion, right? And to be clear, I work in EU LCS. I was not a part of the NA LCS decision, so this is all just my personal perspective. But I like that we don't know 100% going into playoffs who is going to be the best, and you actually get to see something completely different going into playoffs.
Okay.
My only thing is, I was one of the big people, like when best of threes came around, I was like, this is going to be sick for competitive reasons.
Me too.
Because I don't like cheese that much. I don't want that, like, yeah, TSM getting 4th in the regular season doesn't sound cool to me. You know, I'm like, they're actually probably the best team. I want to see them have chances to prove that, as well as give teams more opportunities to play games so that they have more practice time and things like that. But what ended up happening was we still have best of ones at major international tournaments because I thought those were going to go away as best of ones were phased out, and that just didn't happen. And it became the thing where like the only place best of ones existed were tournaments, and now it's like, well, maybe the regular season should have best of ones to mirror international competition.
I think it values different skills too, right? Like you call it cheese, but I also think there are some teams that naturally are going to play well into best of ones, and ultimately I think you should always, if to be a good team, you have to win in a best of 5. But I think it is interesting to see that, and I think especially as long as the Worlds format remains best of ones, there's no reason that we shouldn't have some kind of best of ones in regular season.
I think that's the best reason. It's like I can understand. Okay, we're switching to all best of threes, but then like you look at the group stages, the play-in stages, all that's best of one. Sure, it ends with a best of 5, but you're still playing a ton of best of 1 games. And so if it's still there, man, just keep best of ones in and keep my time to a minimum because my time is important.
I mean. Enough jokes about Scarra's time, but for fan time, it's the same kind of thing where like fans are just like, I will watch 2 series now, and that's it, if even, or you'll just watch the one you want to watch because as soon as that team's done, you're just like, I don't have any reason to keep watching. I don't want to watch potentially 3 games of Echo Fox plus Envy or something.
And I also just think that like I ultimately I'm not a casual viewer. I will watch a best of 3, 2 best of 3s with TSM in it if they're playing good teams every week, no problem. But for some people, like that's an unrealistic amount of League of Legends. Some people don't have 6 hours to watch League of Legends a week, where I'm like comfortable watching 30, you know, because it's my job and because it's what I'm about.
God, okay. So I used to talk to a lot of people beforehand. Like we're talking when the best one format was back in North America, and it was common for people to like, spend 1 or 2 weekend days watching LCS. It was like a 6-hour commitment. You watch 6 games, 6 different games. All the teams play, and it was great. If there was a game you didn't watch, all right, for 40 minutes you just like mess around with your friends, and all of a sudden, oh, that game's over. Let's keep doing this, you know. And I thought that was like really cool. Like that's how I thought you should, or think that you should watch LCS. And they switched to best of 3s. And
I didn't know I was signed in as you. I thought that was me.
What? Did you
shut the fuck up about the camera? It's not on autofocus. It's just a shitty setup.
Wait, that's not me. He's impersonating me. That's identity theft, Mark.
It was supposed to just be me, but I guess you're signed in on this computer. My bad.
Anyways,
Scarra's toxic. Got it.
yeah. Don't worry about the camera, guys. It'll fix itself over time.
That's not true. It'll always be bad because it's just a bad setup. I can try and move the camera closer, but I think the problem at the end of the day is.
Mark, you're supposed to agree with me, and then as they wait for it to get better,
Yeah,
at some
you're right.
point you're gonna be like,
The camera's
They
still
lied to
warming.
me.
The camera's still warming up, guys. It's getting there. Just give it a second.
Hold on, guys.
It's
Don't
still,
worry.
the camera's still booting up.
but yeah, I think a lot of times before people would watch the entire 6 hours of LCS, like watch, they
Yeah.
tune in for like 3 out for 1 and then 3 more because you could do stuff in between games, but now that's not the case, so people don't even bother watching.
That's what I assume is happening a fair amount too. It's such a commitment now to try and follow the whole LCS, and then because you're not following the whole LCS, you don't know the whole story. You become less invested in it because now you only know TSM side of the story or something, and it's just like is this snowball effect where it's like I'm only watching TSM, and now I don't care about these other teams, and now I don't follow the league as much, and now I'm only watching half of TSM's games.
It is surprising they decided to go back to 2-day format because I'm assuming that's what they're doing, unless I'm wrong and someone can correct me on that. If it's a 2-day format, I expected them to up it to 3.
I mean, ultimately, I don't know, but I think the thing is that from my perspective, it's like the old format used to fit into 2 days. I don't know if there's a reason to put another day in there.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Because
It's just hard because unless you're increasing the number of games, like 4 best of ones, between,
3.
That's so arbitrary though.
Okay, you're right.
Because then someone
Yeah.
always gets 1 extra blue
Yeah,
side.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so unless they're going to go up to 4 to make it totally balanced, and then you would probably need to up the days a lot, or start having
They
double
actually-
stream or
they-
something.
As someone, and also just like I did double stream right when it was best of 2s in Europe. I've done single stream. I can't say anything for the NA guys, but for me as an EU caster, never go like double stream is so hard for broadcast. It's so tough, especially if you're a fan of multiple
We've
teams.
both been on like the broadcast analyst portion of it. Like, so we're like analyzing a game, and they're like, okay, we're jumping to the next game. You haven't seen the first 12 minutes. Talk about it. And I'm just like, well, it looks like they're doing some great stuff here.
It would, yeah. It's definitely
It's a juggling act, like more than anything else. I think.
It's hard. We have like 2 computers set up. We're like scrubbing through footage, being like, all right, I sped through the first 12 minutes of this game. There were 3 ganks in the bot lane. I didn't really look at the pathing that closely, but here we go. There are 3 ganks in the bot lane. Great job by Contracts to snowball that bot lane.
Yeah, and so it's like you can't bring in like the best analysis because you're watching 2 streams. Like even for Greatest League Talkshow, because of how we watch 2 streams. Commonly, we'll come in at the very end of the day. I'll be like, Mark, you have to help me cover the last series because I was watching this series, and he'll be like, I didn't really watch that series that much, but like this series, like I know what happened, and so we constantly have to like be like, oh, this happened in that one, this happened in this one, kind of stuff.
Oh.
And as the premier North American LCS analysis show, that's kind of lame. I think we're the only one too. I'm gonna be honest.
So here are some things from the article. More than half of fans start watching a best of 3 regardless of what game in the series teams were currently playing. They were not getting the payoff of watching the series unfold. So that means like they're just tuning in, and then like in the middle of a series, and they're like, I don't know what really happened in the last game. So you don't get the whole story of the series.
I think that makes sense.
Almost half the fans have trouble finding time to watch an entire best of 3 matchup, making the LCS less approachable for the average fan. Many prefer just to play League of Legends instead of watch a best of 3. So it's just like same thing we were just saying. Fans cite best 3 is too many games as a factor when they stop watching as much as they used to.
Yeah. I mean, from that article, it feels like a lot of it is an ease of access thing.
Yeah, and I think that's really important because in the end, like the casual viewership, like is the people who matter.
Yeah.
Like I would say all of us are hardcore. watching.
Everyone watching GLT right now doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But
you
guys
guys-
are the hardcore fans.
Absolutely. You guys are.
You're
probably-
not going anywhere.
Exactly.
You have nothing going on in your life, so you'll watch us on a Friday afternoon.
That's a new strategy. I support the viewership, berate the viewership.
They love it. Masochists.
That's what they're here for, dude.
Yeah. So I understand why they're doing it. I think it's in the end the right thing to do. I can't sit back. I just get lit up.
You just want to relax, but
Yeah, I want to sit.
trade.
No, it's not gonna be any better for you. Look at this. I'm cream cheese. I'm Casper the Friendly Ghost. Anyways, you want to get into the?
yeah, dude. Let's start. I'm down.
All right.
So we'll be covering Well, I guess now we're going on to our actual analysis portion of the show. We'll be covering all play-ins, the single group stages as well as the best of fives. The group stages we'll be covering, or play-in stages, I guess, we'll be covering very quickly because it's a godforsaken amount of games.
It's a lot of games, even including just the best of five portion. That's still 13 games, which is a lot more than we ever cover. So we'll be going pretty high level with most of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's better than rather than doing like by day, probably just by group of the play-ins,
Group
best
or,
of ones,
or teams or surprise. I think you can go anyway with it.
Group A, you want to start there?
Yeah, sure.
So Gambit, Drako, you're the closest
Oh,
thing to a Gambit expert. Given
yeah.
that you live in Europe. They're kind
Geographical
closer to
proximity.
Europe.
Which one of us is the Korea expert? I don't actually know which
We
one.
don't have a Korean expert.
None of us are the Korean.
Okay, perfect.
He can speak Chinese, so he'll tell us all about WE.
What? I'm not. That's not even.
We've got new standards for analysis here.
Yep.
Great. So Gambit. Okay, so my impression of Gambit coming in was I think I overvalued them because I saw Albus Nox Luna last year, and when you look at Albus Nox Luna coming into play-ins and eventually Worlds, they did the same crazy aggressive kind of stuff that Gambit was doing. And so I thought, okay, Gambit will be good. Kind of throwing off any idea that they were actually just making really bad, really greedy plays.
I watched their games, and outside of their finals, I watched some of their games. I'm like, oh, I look at their record; they're smashing their region for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm like, okay, that's whatever, not a big deal. And they win the finals. Okay, I was a little bit worried because the way they won the finals was like
Ugly.
the ugliest, like really sloppy.
Diamond Prox plays Kayn, invades with no pushing lanes, and dies in the jungle for no reason.
Multiple times.
Multiple times. And this is like the dark days, because if you're a Gambit fan, you're like, Diamond Prox and Edward are back. Like, let's go. And he's feeding in the jungle.
Yeah, exactly. So I was most worried about that, but I gave them the benefit of the doubt. I also thought they'd be pretty good, you know?
I actually thought that they would do the worst in the group. I mean, like, I don't think I went on anywhere and gave my exact predictions after I watched VODs, because the first time we did that, we were just like, here's our random thoughts. Yeah, Gambit, hype.
That was
awesome.
me, dude. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. So I was on that hype train until I watched the games, and I noped out of there. They just didn't look good. Most of the stuff they didn't do made any sense. Edward, like, would go top at 4 minutes, and Blasting would just, like, sit in bot lane.
But that's, like, the level of weak analysis I had for Gambit. I was like, Albus Nox Luna didn't make any sense to me either. Gambit must be good.
But I like to this day maintain that Albus Nox Luna wasn't good. They just it's the flukiest thing you'll ever see. I think Albus Nox Luna will be the flukiest thing you see for years.
So you're saying they're the hard exception. No one else is going to be able to do it.
They are the only team to have made it out of group stage as a wildcard team at Worlds, and they didn't do it by clean play. They did it by brand support and getting some Barons, luckily, and I don't know, having G2 be the biggest underperformer in the history of the World Championship. Actually, no, that's not true. Dade Award.
Okay,
Dade
I was
Award
going to say the
exists.
Dade Award exists, yeah. But we're a close second. We'll get the G2 award.
Wow, that's...
Look, man, I can't lie. Like, I hope G2 do better, but Europeans aren't like, no, G2 did fine. Like, we know they sucked, guys.
Yeah.
We're not trying to hide it.
I feel like
CLG sucked too, by the way. I'm like, there's no way they shouldn't get out of that group.
Yeah, it's like people think that like it's like the American people slamming G2. No, it's usually like all the European people.
Yeah, we know. Like, they're our best team. Everyone is scared. They need to make it out of groups this time.
We'll probably talk about predictions at the very end, but
Yeah.
like I just want to throw it out there. I think G2 will make it out of groups. Like,
I think this is the year. But
oh, I can't wait. We'll get there in a sec.
there.
We'll get there in a sec.
So Gambit, yeah, I think I highly overrated Gambit in Group A, and I actually super underrated Lion because when I was watching a lot of their games, I thought they were just making stupid plays, but from talking to Mark, he had a very different perspective.
It's one of those things where like you are so good, and like they probably culturally like shitting on people, like that, like
Culturally.
I just mean like the LATAM servers, the BR servers, like those servers are like more aggro, kind of like the European servers, where like when you beat somebody, you want to shit talk them. Whereas like North America, what everyone says when they get to Sulky here is they're like, it's so chill. Like, what's going on? So I feel like that translates a little bit to their competitive scene.
I blame the streamers.
Absolutely, probably the problem. But like just some like scenes, some of the scenes when they start winning, they want to rub it in your face, and like absolutely the case in LATAM. And this team has won 9 domestic titles, so they don't feel challenged at all. So in their finals, they're literally like laugh spamming as they're getting ganked, and then they'll die to the gank. And I'm not like oh man, I can't. These guys are bad. They'll never be able to outplay that gank. I'm like, they just don't give a shit. They literally don't care right now. And at some point, if they start caring, they'll probably do good. And then the fact that they almost made it out of the group stage at MSI. They just had Gigabyte Marines in their group. I was like, I think these guys are actually decent.
Yeah, my impression was that in the past they've always been super mechanically good, right? They've always done well in the IWC group stages. Mm-hmm. My concern was when I saw them dying in lane, not noticing the laugh spamming at the time. I was like, oh shit, if they're not good in lane, they're gonna be terrible. And I just didn't even notice they're disrespecting their opponents.
Well, and I've played with Sia and Adi for like years. Like I just forgot they're on that team, and then when I'm watching them, I'm like, no, they're actually really good. Like mechanically, they're great players. I think what people don't realize is like throughout most of the teams at Worlds, mechanics wise, they're very similar. You know, most of it's like understanding the game, except for when you get to like maybe some players who are just like above the level of the curve.
Because there's like regionally dominant players, then there's like world dominant players, internationally dominant players, and like regionally dominant players for the most part are close enough to the same level.
Right, and then you'll have like the really big outliers, like Faker, you know.
Yeah, Jensen.
Did he? Yeah, I would say he's done pretty well.
Yeah, but he gets a lot of help from his team.
Such a shill for Jensen, dude. You love that man.
Like, maybe if he wasn't so good, I wouldn't have to talk about him so much, but he is. Anyways, we'll keep on with Group A. Lion looked pretty good. Of course, the favorites were WE, and they got a lot of hype from their Chinese analysts.
Yeah, I think it's... Go ahead, you can start.
I was going to say, I've always been scared of hyping Chinese teams. Always.
I think you should be, because every year Chinese teams get hyped and something goes wrong. Something goes horribly, horribly wrong.
Like, one year I'm just like, oh, this is it. I think 2 years ago I was like, China's got this like
the LGD,
2015 LGD.
Yeah, that's when he died.
That ever since then I'm like, I don't trust you guys ever.
I don't blame you, man. I wouldn't do it. I still am not confident. I saw WE and I think WE looked really good, all things considered, but I still have no faith that they're going to do anything.
I feel bad for them last year because I feel like they were decent, probably the second best region, and then both their teams just get drawn over to the side with the Koreans on it, and they just get smashed, and you're just like, unlucky, dude. Europe gets H2K, and suddenly Europe performed better at Worlds, or Europe gets ANX. So.
Look, man, we made it to semis. That's all I'm saying. I don't want you to look at the quality of the teams we played. I don't want you to look at anything else. Just look at the final result. That's all that matters.
I can't say anything because NA team getting to semis is like my dream. Like I hope that happens.
I mean, EU's made it there a lot more often.
Yeah, of course. Like
okay, to be fair, Origin Fnatic year we earned it. H2K year is I think arguable.
Pretty arguable. WE, the way that people were talking about them, they're not like the typical Chinese team where they're hyper aggressive. They're more about like late game scaling. They play around Mystic because he's a beast. And so while they're getting hyped up as potentially the best Chinese team, they're not the kind of team that will like prove that because most of the time they're like, yeah, we'll just chill in the early game.
I watch a lot of World League games. I get really impressed by their mid laner. Usually he's like scrapping the team out of like the danger zone a lot of games. Like he's very, very consistent in the impact that he brings. I did only watch 2 of their playing states, so maybe he had a game where he was just like completely awful. But even the best of 5, I thought he's a pretty good rock for them.
I don't know. My impression of Shie is that from talking to analysts, they said he's slumping a little bit. I thought he was fine, but like Condi for me, when he plays around bot side is a monster. That dude was clearly the best jungler in the playing stage, and I like actually want to see now how he's going to stack up against everyone else because I feel like my perspective is just a little warped because I've seen him just crush people for so many days.
It feels like when you watch your team domestically and you're like, oh god, they have so many problems, and they go on the international stage and they do well, and then you're like, no, they're not that good. There's still these problems, which I feel like is what happened with GA a lot, where people just kept saying like, oh, he's struggling, but I guess he's doing well right now.
I don't think he's like super lane dominant, but when I look at how he carries them out of fights a lot of times. I saw we'll get to it. But I just think I don't know. I'm impressed by his play actually.
Right. So either way, Gambit does not make it out of the group. It's Lion and WE at the 1 seed. I guess you could say Gambit getting upset, but
no.
It was only they were 100% riding off name hype, and that's it.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
When I saw the Yasuo game, I was like, oh, this is all I needed to see.
You watched that whole game?
I watched some of the game. I didn't need to watch too much
Mystic
of the game.
At what point were you like, this is over? Was it the 3-0 Graves? Was it the Yasuo pick? Because I would have seen the Yasuo pick and just been like, all right, that's the game.
When I saw the Yasuo pick, I was like, there's only one of two ways this pick goes. Even in competitive, there's no like average Yasuo. It goes to both extremes, and so it went toward one extreme very quickly.
I mean, to be fair, in that game they were playing for absolutely nothing. I think we're just putting on a show.
Yeah,
they were already donezo.
I guess. But I mean, I think a big part of Kira was people talking about his champion pool, right? Yeah. He had this big thing where it's like in 12 games he's played 12 different champions.
That's not good.
Yeah, I was just like, is that like a great thing to do? Like, it shows he's
the
good.
thing is people like idolize that, right? But also like there's so many champions that fit the same role. Like you never actually need to play 12 different champions.
Yeah, like a lot of people like
maybe over the course of a season, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like Faker has a great champion pool, right? But a lot of times it's like the meta shifts or like people ban out his champion, so he's forced to.
He gets bored and plays Master Yi mid or.
Okay, that was more random. I give you that. That was terrible, but.
Was it Group C that we had the Jax jungle? Talk about that for a second.
That was Team 1, so that would be Group B.
Oh, Group B. All right.
Oh, we can just
let's get go to Group B then. All right, we got Cloud9, Team 1 from Brazil, and Direwolves from the OPL, Oceania. This was basically a battle for second. No one looked close to C9. They had an average game time of 26.5 minutes. They brutalized this group.
Yeah, it was destruction. Even the one game where they started to lose on the bottom side of the map, they just like won one mid-game skirmish and crushed it.
Yeah, they were down like 3K gold or something at like 15, 18 minutes, and then the game was over at 25.
Let's be honest, the most notable part of this group was that Jensen played Galio mid.
Yeah, that's
one
true.
game.
Yeah.
Like that was the most exciting part for many
I was
people.
just surprised. I was like, wow, you played it. That's cool. They got like a nice little thing there. I think for C9, it's been about like the growth of contracts throughout the last year or so. And I think that right now he's developing into like a really, really strong jungle candidate, just overall.
I think the Galio game was specifically to throw people off. They have no desire to actually play Galio, but like we can beat anybody in this group with anything that we pick. So let's pick something that's competitively viable, that's not our styles. People start worrying about it. I think it was a mind game.
Okay.
I mean, maybe. I just feel like I don't know if they need a next level of their opponents at that level, you know. But maybe they're preparing way in advance for the group stage.
I wouldn't be surprised. And then the battle came down between One and Direwolves.
God.
I can't believe that Direwolves even got into the competition for second.
You think they're that bad?
Okay, wait, did you watch Team 1 though?
Yeah, day one of One was like...
I watched One. I was the one who was just like, they're not going to kill this game. Like, they just got like murdered this game.
All right, so this is literally just a battle between Team 1. Because Cloud9 are obviously just going to shit on everybody. But this Team 1, I thought Direwolves would for sure have this. And it wasn't even like I thought Direwolves were an incredibly strong team. One did not win a single lane, I think, just about ever. They might have had a CS lead once or twice in one or two lanes. But these guys...
The saddest thing was when we were talking about their best of 5 series, and we're like, maybe their bot laner who has negative 14 CSD can do better than the other team's bot laner who has negative 21 CSD. Like, that's the level that we're like trying to pull for like One to like build up a good storyline.
To be fair, the negative 21 CSD guy was actually good in team fights, though.
That's why I was so sad. I was like, I can't even talk about team fights because while both of them have horrible laning stats, the negative 21 guy has 700 DPM.
And for me, it's not even like Team 1 are bad in the sense that they're like giving up a ton of CS to make other plays. Like they're just not very good at last hitting. Like, and that was super disappointing. And
yeah, the Galio games are just like, ugh.
They're just missing CS because their roams were good, and it wasn't like they're roaming at bad times where they had to give up 2 waves to roam. They would push their wave and then roam. But I'm not watching their laning phase, so I don't know if they're just giving up. Normally give up. We have to be willing to give up a little bit of health, like take a bad trade to get some CS sometimes in bad matchups, or if you're like not as good as a player. I don't know if they just never wanted to do that. I don't know why they lost so much CS, but every single lane was behind.
So with all of this slamming on Team 1, what do you have to think about Direwolves then?
I think mental boom is probably the easiest description of what happened after game 2.
The way I see them is the first game of C9. The way I've always seen that team is like they need Surnefire to carry.
Yep, I agree. 100%.
Like that's the guy, highest mechanical player. You know, he's gotten like top 5 on the rank ladder in solo queue in like every region pretty much. In Korea, North America, I think he went to. Did he go to EU as well?
Can we talk about this fucking light real quick?
We can talk about it.
It's not fading.
Like I pulled the shades as far over as they can go.
It is my turn to lean forward. Sorry, I'll just lean forward now. You're
Yeah,
good.
I
You're good.
no,
Keep
because
going.
now when I lean forward, I'm still in the light. So
No,
if I'm,
you're going to
if
be
I'm
out of the light in like 20 minutes. The longer we go.
Oh, that's good. That's
Scarra
fine.
will be next in the light.
Yeah. Okay, but anyways, I just think the first game of the C9, it was like maybe jitters, right? You know, they played really bad. Surefire especially has to carry that team. Didn't do anything. So okay, after that game, I was like, oh, they just need Surefire to turn on and they can win some of these games. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I've seen the teams that can win lane, win game kind of stuff, and I feel like that's what they banked on. Win early, win the game, and they just aren't a good team.
I think two things. One, yes, you need Surefire to go off, but I feel like that region is just like individually one of the least talented regions in any wildcard qualifier. Like their like level of play from individual players is always just so low. Like people always hype up Fantix because he like shits on his region. That dude has never stepped up internationally. I've seen like 2 or 3 tournaments in a row where they're like, watch out for Fantix, good mid laner, and then just nothing happens.
It makes me sad too, because I know the people hyping up Fantix, and they're always like, dude, this guy's good. And then you watch his finals, and he plays one game of Kog'Maw, and the rest is Victor. And it's like, if he's so good, why isn't he playing champions where he can actually prove that he's good?
Right, and then he gets to international competition every time and does nothing. So he might not lose as horribly as some other players do, but like there's no standout player but Surefire, really. And he's, from what I can heard and what I can tell, is just like a really inconsistent player.
Yep. And well, that's like how I thought they'd win, and like that's generally what they need to do to win. I thought that never happened because against good players, good teams.
And, well, they got like a 5,000 gold lead against one, and then lost that game, and that's when I feel like the mental boom thing happened.
Yeah, and I feel like they fell apart. And historically, this is a big rivalry for anyone who doesn't follow IWC, Brazil, and OPL. We hit on it in the broadcast a little bit, but like in the past, it's been Chiefs and INTZ, and INTZ even are. I feel like Chiefs and INTZ were more evenly mechanically matched, but Team 1 is like not a good mechanical team. They're known to be like the macro team in Brazil. So the fact that they were keeping up and not just getting smashed in lane, especially in their third game, their tiebreaker game, where they like were just losing from the start, it like blew my mind. Because Team 1 are definitely not a good mechanical team, and the fact that you're then beating Direwolves, who are supposed to have some like Chippy's is supposed to be good, Fantix is supposed to be good, we know Surefire is supposed to be good, even King and Destiny on the bottom lane are supposed to be able to crush their lane when given a chance, when given like a utility bot lane to support. So I don't know, man.
I feel like both teams have very poor individual skill, but like at least the Brazilian team was like, we're here guys, we're doing it, I'm so happy, and they believed in themselves, whereas it felt like Direwolves just exploded.
Thank God they were at least the Mighty Ducks story.
Yeah,
that's
they were the Mighty
redemption
Ducks story.
So I have a
Gordon
question.
Gecko got in. Oh, not Gordon. Well, whatever. Same guy. Not really.
You call this a rivalry. Has the OPL ever won like in this rivalry?
No, so the thing is usually like in actual game score, I think that the OPL was ahead, but like historically Brazil has always made it farther.
I'm surprised they like.
And to be fair, a lot of this like rivalry stems from the fact that the Chiefs and INTZ are like best friends.
Okay, I didn't mean to like be super BM about
No,
it.
no,
but,
no. Yeah, like
I when I watch Oceanic server in international events, like you think like G2 fans like are worried. Like Oceanic fans are just like, we're gonna lose. They're so pessimistic. And to be fair, I feel like they were right to be because I don't remember many wins from that region.
And they choked a lot. Like if we go back, because I cast a lot of IWC and IWCQ events over the years, and like they usually do okay. Like they usually have a couple good games, and then the second any kind of pressure is on any of their teams, they just look like trash for the rest of the tournament, and it's super disappointing. Now this tournament I think is not a good indicator because I don't think they look good at any point except for the one game where they chain ganked Cloud9's bot lane, but then of course they immediately fell apart to something. The second something went wrong.
Right.
Yeah, I think OPL is just not good, and I have no hopes for them. Much like I have no hopes for Japan, which we'll get into later.
Yeah.
But let's move on to Group C first. This one was Fnatic, Young Generation, and Chaos Latin Gamers. And this was a weird group because it started with Chaos Latin Gamers beating Young Generation. I think it was the first match.
Yeah.
And then like you were like, oh, I guess they're probably going to be the 2 seed. And then Fnatic stomps Young Generation. You're like, yep, that's definitely how it's going to go. And then they swapped their top laner and Young Generation.
That was the super close Fnatic game, the first Young Generation.
It was super close, but they lost. And you're like, all right,
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
maybe they just got lucky because they lost to Chaos Latin Gamers. But then they swapped their top lane. They're actually pretty good.
When I watched Young Generation, I didn't watch much of them play in, but I watched them in the best of 5. I was like, this team is not bad. Like, they're pushing World League quite a bit.
Yeah, and the thing about Young Generation is that first game that Mark brought up for KLG, the top laner was a big deal because Ren.
They pick like this early lane dominant comp, and then the Renekton just starts getting solo killed in the long lane.
Black Cleaver, Blade of the Rune King, I think was his build, and he was just dying 1v1 to a Cho'Gath, like consistently. And that was really disappointing because this guy was supposed to be super good, but they subbed out. Their other top laner was way better. But like the most interesting part of this tournament, I think entirely for me when it comes to emerging regions, is Null, the guy in the mid lane for Young Generation.
Oh,
yeah.
We hit on it a bunch. He is good, but in that first game, he looked so bad.
Yeah, that's why I was so convinced they're gonna be terrible because he's playing Syndra. He's missing his W's, missing his stuns, missing his Qs.
Comically missing them.
Yeah,
like no way in a million
stun target,
years.
miss Q. Like the guy's not moving, you just press Q in the wrong spot. So it felt like he was god awful. They ended up doing an interview with him, and he was like, "I just have really bad like stage fright, nerves, and stuff." So his first game was bad, but then when he warmed up, he started playing.
And that was the craziest thing to me is like usually when someone has nerves, they look a little bit worse. Maybe they get solo killed once, right? But the second this guy had admitted that he had nerves, he like completely different player. Like they might as well have subbed someone else in.
Yeah, that was a big deal. And then also with Chaos Latin Gamers, other than Monterrey, it didn't really feel like they had that many good players anywhere.
Yeah,
like I can't think of another player who like stood out during the group.
I struggle to think of the players on their team. So
Plugo,
Tierwolf,
Plugo, Monterrey,
Tierwolf. Did they have a bot lane?
I wish I could tell you.
God.
Okay, so here's the issues. When Latin America North and Latin America South split up, I feel like Latin America North, due to regional proximity to NA, to being able to play on the NA server pretty easily, like I feel like they kept all of the pretty good mechanical players, and Latin America South is just in this awkward spot, right? Where I don't think that they have very strong mechanical players. I think Isurus, the last representative, didn't look good. Castle and Gamers didn't really look good, and I think they're definitely one of the weakest emerging regions, and I kind of feel for them though because it's probably really hard for them to actually like get strong mechanical talent where they're located.
Yeah, a huge problem. They've tried importing some people before, I think, but it didn't work out. I think Isurus had like a Korean or two, if I remember. I might be totally wrong.
I think every emerging region has had or tried imports in some way. Even like Japan has gotten like a bunch of random imports here and there. Doesn't really work out, you know. And every emerging region has tried imports, I think.
Yeah. Anyways, Chaos Latin Gamers doesn't look good. Young Generation, day 2, they swap out Ren, who sucks. They put in Nocti, who's pretty good. Instantly turns it around. They win their next 2 games. They upset Fnatic. Fnatic is the only... Well, that's not true because HK lost games. But Fnatic lost games.
Yeah, that was a little crushing.
It was so funny, too, because it was Kassadin, blind pick, backdoor. It was so good the way they lost.
They got X-Pecked. Fnatic got X-Pecked.
Did it feel good to lose in such like a memorable way as a
Yeah, my favorite thing too was people going on Twitter and being like, "Yeah, but Fnatic wasn't playing for anything, guys." I'm like, "Oh yeah, like they didn't pick Yasuo. Like there is no indicator that they weren't 100% taking that game seriously. The only reason people are saying that is they're trying to like save themselves from the crushing realization that they just got X-Pecked."
I don't think people realize like as a professional player, like you have a lot of pride. Like if you don't want to be the guy who loses, like or the guy who loses that best of 1 to that random other team, like you need to win those.
You don't want to
games.
get kaboomed.
Yeah, exactly.
And that actually mattered.
It's a different story where it's like, okay, you know, it's the last game, they're already out, and you can play whatever you want. It's like no one wants to be the team that loses. There's no excuse. It's not like, well, you know, they weren't really trying. You know, they didn't really warm up. Their hands were cold. There's no excuse that works.
Yeah.
Fnatic, other than that one game, still struggled because they also almost lost to Young Generation in day 1. So it looked like Fnatic was not doing so hot.
Yeah, we can talk about it more in the elimination stages, but I think the biggest issue for Fnatic is they haven't solved a lot of their issues that they've had since Europe. Broxah still isn't super active, still isn't super consistent in ganking mid. Soaz is still Soaz. Love that man to death. He does really well 90% of the time, but like at least once a game he has to overextend and die per reason. It's like it's in his contract.
Right.
It is so consistent.
You must die.
Look, man, we need you to try at least one flashy teleport escape per game.
Yeah, you have to have your turret down, run as far forward as possible, then try and outplay.
Don't place vision. We want it to be a surprise every time when there are 3 people
Yeah. Reckless was for the most part really good, aside for the one game they lost. He got shit on in lane.
I think he must have been because he was just making objectively dumb plays, and I have to believe that there's some emotional aspect there, but I imagine you're frustrated at that point when he was backing on a control ward next to a team that he knew was doing Baron.
Yeah, that was really weird. Anyways, Fnatic still make it out as the 1 seed. Young Generation come out number 2. Brings us to Group D, the most contentious group of them all.
Woo! I can't wait for Rampage to upset.
Do you want to just start with Rampage?
Yeah, dude, they're so fucking bad.
So bad. All right, so
I'm so sad.
I used to cast LJL back in Season 2, and I've been on the hype train before.
I rode the hype train. I think everyone rides the hype train once.
Yeah.
Only once, though.
And you attribute...
Because you get burned so bad.
You get burned so bad. Okay, so Tussle and Dara are their Korean imports. They're Korean college students. It's like a partnership deal with a technical university in Korea. But they used to be just so much better than everyone around them. And they used to be the only team in the LJL that would like tower dive at level 3 every game. Because they were the only team that knew how. Oh. And now they're the team that does absolutely nothing in the laning phase. Loses to Heimerdinger mid in their own region. And Syros is a ballin' mid laner, don't get me wrong. If anyone is going to, I'm using less strong words there. If anyone's going to beat someone with Heimerdinger, I believe that it's Syros. But also, like, it shouldn't be possible. You cannot lose to champions like Heimerdinger.
I really wish that they had qualified instead because I love watching Heimerdinger. So, like, at least if they lose, I get to see Heimerdinger in those games.
Yeah, I got on the LJL hype train once at MSI. People were like, this is a dark horse team. Get ready. They go to their group. They do fucking awful. And I'm like, I'm never buying into this hype again. I didn't think they looked that great, but people were telling me like, oh, well, it's a region that's rapidly growing. They import Korean teams. They take it very seriously. And I'm like, okay, I'll believe all that. Maybe it was just low-level play.
Yeah, and that's all good. Like, LJL, keep working hard. I believe in you. Keep grinding. But right now, just not a strong region.
No, absolutely not. And the funniest thing was Vedius bought into the hype this time after. Like,
I saw that.
Did you see that, Des?
I retweeted that. That was so funny.
Yeah, dude. Like, everyone buys in at once. And like right now, a lot of fans bought in because they're weebs, and this is like the first time they've heard it. Like the Japanese region.
Yeah, I love anime. Go Rampage.
Yeah, basically.
Guys, if Naruto
Beyond got pulled into it that hard. He was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, guys, did you see Hunter x Hunter and Boku no Hero? That's basically who they are, right?"
This guy right on your screen, that's Deku, man. You gotta believe in him.
Yeah, one for all and all for one.
This is the Gurren Lagann of League of Legends, man.
Believe it.
It's brutal, man.
Yeah. So, anyways, they suck. They suck.
They suck.
We don't need
You watch their finals, you see they suck, and then you realize that there's actually no hype. They get fucked up by everybody. I don't think they had a single close game, right? I don't remember a close game.
No, they like got one lead in one game and immediately lost.
It was awesome too because their worst loss was actually their first one against
right
HK.
After Vedius brought it up and was talking trash, and immediately they just get hard smashed across the board.
HK, who I thought was like, to be fair, I thought HK was going to do the best in the group. It was actually 1907 Fenerbahce because 1907 Fenerbahce is so great, and I love 1907 Fenerbahce.
Hashtag 1907 Fenerbahce.
Make sure to tweet out 1907
Fenerbahce.
Fenerbahce.
Hold on. 1907 Fenerbahce esport.
Esport.
I prefer to just call them FB.
FB.
FB is also contractually acceptable.
Yeah, to be clear to anyone, I'll say it because I know Mark's been thinking it too. To be clear,
I'm gonna say, you go first.
Yeah, basically, we were told we had to call them 1907 Fenerbahce out of respect to the organization, not just Fenerbahce. The reasoning there wasn't, I never got 100% context on, but that's what we're supposed to say, so that's why we kept saying it like that. The alternative that we could have used is FB.
Wait, really? You could just say FB?
You could say FB.
But that felt weird too.
No, it's bad. Like,
because you're like Facebook?
Yeah, First Blood?
You hit me up off FB and you're like, what? First Blood? Yeah, so, like, it was a thing where, like, from my understanding, there's a team called Fenerbahce. And 1907 is an offshoot, and they want to be clear that they're not that team. They're the offshoot or whatever. So they want us to say 1907 Fenerbahce every single time. And like,
that's a mouthful.
And we got hounded by some people about it.
Yeah, and it was clearly very important. And I don't 100% understand the reasoning. I don't know. So I'm assuming it's very important.
I understand stuff like this because I remember when I was on Dignitas, we were not allowed to ever have like a lowercase or like an uppercase D. Like they really cared. So OD specifically would ask, no, we can't have it like this way.
And here's,
and I would be like, I mean, I don't even care. Like
that's fine if you have like how you want your brand to be said, and it's fine to like try and correct people, but like being very adamant on it. If you go look at the post game reaction thread, instead of being like, wow, Fenerbahce is really stepping up, the #1 comments are like, God damn, that's annoying to listen to. And so from a branding perspective, you're not helping. And as a fan, I understand that was really annoying to listen to, but just imagine what it was like on our end as the casters trying to do this. So that's all I'll say about it.
Yeah, and like to be fair, I get it if you're the org. you should push people to say your name correctly. I just think that you should probably find a better abbreviation.
Okay. But what do you guys think about the team, the players?
So that's the thing. Yeah, once again, what are you talking about with this team? The name. The players
I
are
think
pretty...
Frozen's not bad.
Frozen's pretty
not
good.
bad. Thaldren's good.
Crash was as good of a sub as you could probably hope for.
Super lucky, by the way. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like he's like, oh, he's Frozen's ex-teammate. He was just available. That's what I heard happened. Right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the thing is that once due to Move not getting a visa, they were, and I'm seeing this, I'm not a League Ops member, so I don't 100% know how the decision making was made here, but once Move wasn't able to get his visa, they were allowed to find an emergency substitute, and I don't know what the qualifications are for an emergency sub. I don't know what you actually have to look for.
I know I was told at one point that if Move ever gets his visa, they must use him. So it's literally like an emergency sub so that your team can play. And that's my understanding on it. Either way, he looked pretty good. Padden looks like dog shit in lane, but then suddenly becomes a decent team fighter.
His team fight positioning is good, and the team knows how to play around him in team fights, is what I'll say, because there's a lot of fights where Thaldren is really, really good at peeling for him.
I was super upset about him when I saw his playing games, and then I saw his like best of fives, and I was like, wait, this is the guy that gets minus 25 CS at 10 minutes, and he's like winning lane. I'm like, what is going on?
To be fair, a lot of that is that like Team 1 are probably the weakest mechanical team at this tournament outside of Rampage and Chaos Latin Gamers. So I feel like he had a much easier time, but like clearly he's got stuff to work on, right? Like, he's got good things going for him. He's not a great AD carry, but he does have some pretty strong attributes.
The whole team definitely has a bit of a problem in the early game, but once they get out of there, they're pretty good. Like Frozen had some monster team fights. He's also sometimes fine in lane. Thaldren isn't like ever a pressure point on the map for them. He usually just goes even and then becomes a good team fighter.
It's jungle mid 2v5. At least the early game.
Early game, yeah. And then eventually Padden gets 3 items and suddenly he's relevant.
Yeah.
But that's a very dangerous win condition at the World Championship.
Yeah, they also the fact that their early game is so slow, and the thing is like if you look at Move versus Crash, I think Crash wasn't fantastic. He had a couple games where he was more active in the early game. He stole a couple Barons, so I think that this was like a good, at the end of the day, the best you can hope for. But like, let's assume Move does get his visa and comes in. This team with Move does actually nothing in the early game.
Yeah.
Like I thought, people told me like, Move's on this team, he's looking good. Move, if you know Move, looks just like Move in every other region.
Yeah. You saw him on Gravity.
You know what he's about. He wards.
Does he still play Vi? Does he like wait till level 6 and just?
He was not playing any Vi,
unfortunately,
but he was still waiting till level 6.
That's what's holding him back, I think, is the lack of Vi in the meta.
Oh man, when you literally talk to me about him like that, a farm oriented jungler, and then I see people like Condi, and I'm just like, this guy is going nuts at level 2.
You can't tell me that someone is a farm orient. Move is not like, when you look at Levi have that Lee Sin game that people highlighted on Reddit forever ago where he's like 300 farm because he literally takes Raptors and Krugs every time they spawn like clockwork. That is a farm. That is a man who can farm in the jungle. Not doing anything and only sitting in your own jungle and farming does not make you a good farm oriented jungle. Like
fair enough.
Yeah, this team is gonna probably have some troubles, but at the very least they got first in their group.
I mean, they earned that spot.
Because HKA, while being so much better in the early game, and arguably having stronger players, are dog shit around Baron. I don't know if they have like a single good Baron against anyone but Rampage this entire tournament. And that is single-handedly the reason that they lost the tiebreaker. They just lost 2 Barons, or maybe that was the first match they played.
And the worst,
they just lost 1 million Barons.
The
They
worst
can't play
thing
with Barons.
is, like, you can't say that's not important because like a lot of the meta revolves around how you control Baron. Like actually,
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Right, I thought that their early game leads that I saw them getting in their own region would be big enough to like get them out of the group, out of this playing stage. But they're so bad around Baron that like their 3 to 5 to 7K leads are never enough.
And that was really frustrating, and I wonder how much of this. So the coach for this team is Tabe, by the way. You guys probably have heard of him, but maybe he leaked some Hecarim strats. He was a good player back in the day.
He's the coach for HK.
Yeah, so he's the coach for HK, and he came out and he said a lot about like how important that he thinks solo queue is, and so he like really wants his players to grind. And like, I don't want to say this is 100% a result of that, but when your team is really good in the early game and can't play around Baron, that kind of reflects solo queue to me. Like that kind of reflects that mentality coming into it. So I feel like they need, like, as I agree that players should grind solo queue, that they should be super dedicated, they should try to be as good mechanically as they can, but like your team has to be able to play around Baron.
Yeah, there's a reason it's like the most important objective in the game. It's designed to end the game, and if you can't get it and you give it to the enemy team,
you look at all the teams where like even like when C9 struggles for like the early part of the game, they get Baron, the game's over in 5 minutes. You already know, like the Baron just like.
Baron is designed to like kill the enemy team once you get it. Like, if they're not dead, you have taken all their turrets then.
Literally, as long as Baron is up, we are just waiting to see how many people are going to queue up for our like PvP arena game mode in the Baron.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're just like, please go fight each other and end the game.
Yeah. And HK had maybe the worst Baron control of any team there. At least it felt like they were because they were more often in position.
Definitely the elimination teams, for sure.
Yeah, they felt like they were more often in position to get it, so that's probably why it felt so bad watching them try to. But they could not.
Okay.
So that is the round robin, best of 1 play-in stage. Then we get into the elimination portion of the play-in stage.
Oh, I'm ready. Hold
and
on.
the first matchup.
Let me get on my notes. I just want to make sure I have stuff covered just in case. We're still gonna go.
We'll go in order that they played.
Yeah, we'll still go like relatively high level because there's 4 best of 5s. This is
a
lot. This is a long.
Cloud9 versus Lion. Let's go. White Lotus, baby.
White lettuce.
Oh my god.
One thing I gotta give I love Cloud9 for making this shit fun. Like,
yeah,
they did not come in and they're like, we're gonna try our best, guys, and we really just want to have a good showing for our fans, and we want them to they're like, who the fuck am I playing against? Like, I will shit on this kid if I see him in my lane.
Honestly, the most entertaining. Direwolves were talking mad shit too. Like,
yeah,
and I like that. At least that came in from the OPO. I like that. That's
I think
what
it's
I want
great.
More of.
It's super good. Like Jensen especially is great to follow during this stuff. You're just like, oh, this guy's gonna say something.
Yeah, follow Jensen's Twitter. It's so funny right now. And he keeps going. Like, he does the white lettuce thing after they win this series and he gets Faker drawn. He's like, what the fuck, Faker again, Riot? Come on, he's so good.
But yeah, the first series, Cloud9 versus Lion.
We just say Lion. I'm not sure what the official. It might be
Leon.
I said Leon, and people were making fun of me. So Lion. It was a 3-0 for C9. If you guys didn't watch it.
It's coming for Scarra. You see how it's creeping off Dracos? It's slowly coming for Scarra. We're all gonna get our turn. I just started with the light on.
It's actually a sundial. That's how we tell when the show is over. When the
when the light has passed Scarra, we must end the stream.
Oh god. Anyways, C9 won 3-0. 2 really one-sided games. 1 disgustingly close game where Lion threw. Pretty much.
Yeah. They had triple inhib down, so
they should have won.
It's not Gigabyte Marines versus TSM at the MSI plans level, but it's damn close.
Yeah, I would say it's like a less explosive throw, but it was pretty bad. Yeah. So, game 1, Scarra, give me some high-level things real quick.
I don't know if this is the game I like to talk about it, but like catch-up experience is like the real deal at this event.
I think you saved that for the WE series.
Yeah.
Okay.
The level 2 Ezreal ganks.
All I'm saying is I've never seen a Sejuani level 2 gank before, and I don't want to again. But the fact that it worked makes me like hate myself because like I've jungled and I'm just like that shouldn't work. Like how does this come out to be something where? Anyways, this is
Audi does some cool stuff. I'll give him credit that he's doing like weird stuff.
He's got
in the jungle.
really clever pathing. He busted some shit out against WE2 in the group stage. They're weird pass and they like only work if your opponent does one specific thing, but they work.
And it works. Okay, so high level thing about this is that C9's bot lane does really well. So if you don't know, Kalista is the only 100% pick man champ in the entire tournament. It's Now, Sejuani has one game where that didn't happen, I think, and like another champion has another game. That's it.
Xayah Rakan were going to be super high priority until the one series between the two awful teams, and they just stopped playing them.
Yeah, but so Kalista is like the last remaining lane bully, is the way I like to think of it.
Yeah.
And C9 got Kalista and just ran with it this game. And on top of the fact that like, yeah, Adi kind of like threw away a lot of the early pressure so that he can get that level 2 gank off top lane and then like catch up XP his way back. Contracts kind of controlled bot side jungle completely, and then Kalista accrued a 30 CS lead.
Yeah, it was the kind of thing where because the jungler does something so cheesy topside, the enemy bot lane is like, we have literally nothing to be scared of, and you don't know where our jungler is, so we're gonna fuck you up and you have Kalista as well, so it's the perfect champion for it. I feel like what Lion were saying was like, we don't think Sneaky's very good, so if we give him Kalista, like, he won't smash us in lane, because he hadn't really been smashing lane in the tournament.
It's also super weird, some of the smaller regions' priority on Kalista. There's like, I feel like there's a lot of regions where there's just not great Kalista players, because like the OPL, Kalista was let through in almost every game in their finals. It's a similar story for a lot of other, like some of the small regions too, where maybe there just aren't super oppressive Kalista players that you respect at that much.
And when you see a combo like Kalista Thresh, that's going to kill you. Like, there's almost no combo that gets away from Kalista Thresh well.
In this game, did you see the play that I just slowly just start talking about this play? The Alistar flay.
Oh, yes.
The perpendicular, like, oh god, it's so good. Go find this clip. I've talked about it so much.
You can find the clip that was linked specifically Mark. You can find it in the big play thing we did for Acer specifically for Mark. You can find
C9.
Mark talk about it specifically on the desk.
The bot lane might not have died, but they 100% would have lost sums here if Smoothie doesn't make this play. He starts going aggro on the Tristana, hooks it. The Sejuani starts wrapping around. He has no idea he's there. She shows. Alistar starts going to pull Sneaky, headbutt pull him. And as he starts the headbutt and starts moving, he gets the perpendicular flay to interrupt the headbutt. So he just pulls nothing. And then Sneaky saves Thresh. And it's just like so fucking beautiful.
Do you need more time or?
No, I just got to go to the bathroom for a minute, you know, so we don't get your channel banned.
Oh, my God.
It wasn't a very important play in the context of the game.
Yeah,
like,
because after that they just literally just smashed. But yeah.
For the most part, it just ends up being like it starts going to tower trades on the side, and then C9 dives bot lane tower, ends up getting 2 kills, and Impact gets away with a lot of deaths this game. It's like a lot of very, very close calls / a lot of deaths. I think that happens to a lot of top laners in this event, where like they're at the island, and then if you're a good top laner, you can dodge like when the pressure switches to them. They can kind of dodge it, and if you're a bad top laner, you just get eaten alive. And that happens to a lot of top laners throughout the entire event.
And you're saying this didn't happen Impact here?
I mean, he died like once or twice, so it did happen here and there, but I would say the level 2 gank was like somewhat unexpected.
And this was the Camille game, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and they
where
were
he
trying
solo
to
killed the Camille, and then he would have also killed her again, except for the jungler showed up at the last minute. And so for the most part, like the Camille had no pressure this game. Impact just like destroyed.
And even after the level 2 gank, and I think one of the big things we talked about that I think was super important here is that the level 2 gank is successful, but Camille doesn't get the kill, and that's really big. But also, when you look at how these guys fight later in the game, it's like very clear that Impact is just outclassed.
Yeah, just a better player.
Yeah, better player, and then also with how much bot pressure there was, the Sejuani never went top again until like much later.
Yeah, eventually this game devolved into one red side fight where they 3-0 the enemy team, and the game's over.
Yeah, and even before that, you're talking about the tower trades, like Cloud9 are like, oh shit, we have Kalista, so we get a tower, and then we can also take a dragon for free. We get a tower, and we can take a Rift Herald for free. Like, they're just slowly winning on the back of every single one of those trades.
Yeah, and it's I look at this and I'm just like, oh, they kind of had to bank on the fact that Camille needed to get ahead, and they even sacrificed her early game for it to happen, and she still got shit on. So like that, maybe change up the game plan next time.
Yeah, so that brings into game 2, and this game goes very long. It's like a 60-minute game.
It's so long.
And Lion get a huge advantage in the early game. They're smashing. They should be able to close this game out, but they can't.
Yeah, ultimately, they kind of just get outscaled, and Jarvan eventually becomes irrelevant. Like, we get so late in the game that Jarvan becomes relevant, which is pretty fucking late. And it's like it's like actually crazy to me that this game went as long as it did, and I actually think C9 played really well to stop this game from ending. They played really well around objectives to stop Lion, but also Lion, like, there was a period in time where Lion definitely could have just ended the game, and they like just did not take 3 or 4 opportunities.
I think the worst thing about this game for me is that like Lion, I'm okay with, usually a region, if they're like not as good as another region, like they play slower, right? Because they're not as aggressive. They needed to play slow this game because all they needed to do was wait for their waves to crash in, and then all of a sudden they put the other enemy on the clock. They had that position multiple times, and instead it's like right before the other team's about to lose like enormous stuff, they like take the fight.
Yeah.
When it's like, wait, just walk away.
Or they spent like 4 minutes hovering around mid lane, or like maybe 2 minutes trying to get the last mid inhibitor, and like because they're sieging this mid inhib, C9's able to clear the 2 lanes with inhibs down and defend their mid inhibitor. It was just like this weird thing where they weren't really getting much, and by the time they took the mid inhib, the 2 inhibs on the other side respawned.
Yeah, my big takeaway was just like I thought their wave control was terrible. Like when they're, especially like the biggest thing you can look at is when they're doing the Elder Baron bait. And you just see this enormous wave top lane, and this top lane wave actually kills the first Nexus tower, even after they lose this fight and they lose the Elder Dragon. Like they had their AD hitting Elder Dragon the entire time to try to bait the enemy team in, and it's like you don't need to do that, man. Your wave's going to crash in and kill everything up there.
And the weird thing to me is like I don't think it's 100% that their wave control is bad because a lot of times they set up their waves well.
Oh yeah,
they just don't use them.
Yeah,
like
it was,
that's
it was
the weirdest
around
thing.
the objective that they start sucking.
Yeah, no, like they do a great job of like up until the point, and they just need patience, and unfortunately it didn't work out.
Nope. The other thing too was this was one of the few times that killing Jensen worked. Like for the most part this tournament, anytime someone tried to 2v2 mid, they just got fucked by Jensen in contracts. This time around, they killed bot lane a lot first and took like 2 kills down there. And then when they started going mid, the rest of Snap was already so far behind they couldn't match the pressure. Which is like the only way you can attack Jensen, it seems like, for lower level teams. Because if you just fight him 2v2, you lose.
Yeah, and then I think that they liked that. They're like, hey, we finally shut down Jensen. And they went into game 3 and tried to do it without a massive lead bot, if I remember correctly. And they got fucking smashed.
Yeah.
I just had a big problem with this from the draft at the very beginning. So this is the game where, if people don't know, we're on to game 3. They picked Zach into Janna. Like, Janna gets what?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm like somewhat maybe even okay with this, but it's just like what touches Twitch on this comp?
This was the game that Gragas was up too, right? This is the Sejuani versus
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I just don't know what happens in the situation where their last 2 picks are Zach, Jace. What cuts into Janna Twitch? Usually if you want to pressure Janna Twitch, like
Well, they ran Lulu what this game?
Is this another Lulu Varus game? Or
yeah,
Varus
it's a Lulu Triss game.
Oh,
yeah. So one thing that started happening in the international qualifiers, or excuse me, the play-in stage, which will probably continue, is that like when Kalista gets banned, the most lane dominant thing you can pick is Varus Lulu. Because it has push pressure, it has good trades, it can bully out a lot of the Ardent sensing using supports, so it's actually a very strong lane that can get a lot of leads. And it feels like even with Triss, they should probably have an okay laning phase, but they ended up falling like 20 CS down.
Yeah, my thing about that, I think with Varus it works really well, but like the Lulu Triss felt a little awkward in this context because it just felt like you just don't bring as much wave clear, you don't bring as much pressure on the Tristana. But I think we can talk about it more later. But I agree that like Lulu Varus is actually a really interesting lane that I think we might see better, not just play-ins teams use, but other teams use too.
It's like that great aggressive lane that like actually can buys Ardent, but also like does well in lane.
And the thing for me is I saw so many mediocre laners pick up Lulu Varus and get a lead in lane, and like there's a lot of all-star AD carries at Worlds. There's a lot of not great AD carries either, so there's a lot of teams I think who can look at this as like a band-aid for your bottom lane for the early to mid game.
It's really weird though, because you don't really want your hyper carry like AD carry on Varus late game when there's things like Cog Trist running around.
Oh yeah, that was the worst part for White Lotus. It's like your positioning is flawless, but it's 35 minutes and you're a Varus, dude. Sorry.
Yeah, that was game 2 when Jensen finally.
He's got 7 kills and finally like it's flashed on
he's
my
7-0-7 and finally it's just like Syndra presses delete and like outplay that shit, bitch.
Zanya's.
But yeah, this game I just thought was relatively like hard from the very beginning. And the thing I'll say is that I think Shen is just such a good pick. Like a lot of teams have struggled to find a way to deal with Shen, and their entire Shen strategy playbook right now is like at any point Shen hits level 6, let's lane swap to his lane and try to take the tower first. That's like the only strategy people have against Shen. And what actually happens is, for the most part, it's hard to gank mid, it's hard to gank bot, and if you do any of those and you mess up, and if you're messing up against a player like Jensen, you lose the game. It's over. And I think that actually happened this game.
Yeah, that was definitely the Shen all came in. They were
They tried to kill a mid. The rest of C9 was collapsing. They got a 2-for-0 mid turret.
And that was like a huge opening for them.
My thing is, I think Shen is really good in this context, but I wouldn't overvalue Shen going into the regular group stage because I think that it's really if you're ever on the back foot at level 6 and you're forced to use Shen all super defensively, and Shen, like the first couple Shen arcs aren't effective, you give up so much pressure and that champion essentially becomes useless.
Right, and if you're playing Shen against someone like a top lane of like
Cho'Gath or like
like a top lane that
good
actually
you mean player
smashes you, like let's say we're going up against LZ and you got like
Conflicts?
Con on Jace.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna be 50 CS behind at 15 minutes if you do. Even if you play it well, you're gonna be behind.
Shen is definitely a champion where like his gold values relative to his opponent are super important because if he gets to build aggressive and builds like Titanic Hydra, he shits on like a lot of melee matchups versus from behind he's useless.
And not only that, a lot of teams are very abusable because they have one side strategy where it's like let's snowball bot or like let's snowball through mid. Shen destroys that, and against good teams who play like, okay, let's just dive Shen. Take the mid laner, take the jungler, dive Shen. Oh, he's useless. But a lot of teams don't do that well. And so like when you're playing against like teams that are just like, let's go bot this game. We love going bot. It's like, wait, they have Shen, we lose. Or wait, they have Galio, we lose, which you'll see more of as well.
Yep. Anyways, they smashed this game. C9 end up with a relatively long game time from the series because it was a 60-minute game and only 3 games. So,
but like the first game was 26.
The first and third game were sub 30-minute games.
You hold on to it. We know Fnatic had a shorter average game time. We can hold it above your head for.
You can try and hold it above
Did
your head.
Did they really?
Yeah. Only for the elimination portion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had overall shorter game time as well as the fact that we also didn't lose a game. Shh. All right, I'm gonna move some stuff around so I can block some of this glare.
I love this glare, dude. It's like about to travel past me though.
I don't know, dude. I think you're about to get hit by the brunt of it.
Oh.
Draco's is barely out of line of fire. Is that better? Not really, dude. I'm just trying to get it off the TV. I'm trying to put like a darker, less reflective surface.
Hey guys. Can you guys see me?
Hey.
That shining light is Scarra.
Yeah.
Scarra
This
reborn.
beam of light has great analysis.
Alright, I guess we're on to the next best of 5, which would be Fnatic versus HK. Is that the one that happened right after? No.
Yeah. Fnatic HK was the second best.
Oh yeah, it was the second one. Yeah. So this was, I think, what a lot of people thought would be the potential upset because a lot of people felt like HK was probably the best of the second seeds. So some people were looking at this as well as the fact that Fnatic had lost a game. They were thinking, maybe this is a place where we might see an upset, if anywhere.
And I mean, I was on that train even as an EU person, right? It's because I looked at so many individuals collapsing, which I expected to be one of the stronger points for Fnatic, was that they're generally individually really good. And I was skeptical coming into this, but for the most part, they did look pretty good across the series.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I mean, for people who don't know, it's a 3-0 series for Fnatic. They had, would you say like one close game?
Game 1 they were definitively losing, right? I think it's safe to say if Hong Kong Attitude were a better macro team coming out of lane with that big of a lead on a Kassadin, I think they would have won.
And the worst thing is, you know what? Well, yeah, I agree with you. So, one close game, 2 relatively one-sided games.
Yes. Yep. So, game 1, Hong Kong Attitude's mid laner mission is supposedly a god tier Kassadin.
He is.
First rotation, baby. Kassadin can't counterpick.
He legit makes Kassadin look OP. He picks Kassadin to Cassiopeia, which is a Cassiopeia.
He picks it blind. The guy counterpicks Cassio.
The Cassio matchup is good for Cassio. The Cassio matchup good for Cassio. He loses the matchup. He forces the back first on Cassio and gets the CS lead. I'm just like, wait, what? Like I was so impressed. I was just like, there's no way this is actually working. And
he gets a 15 CS lead, and then what's the play they make to break open the game?
It's the Ezreal catch. It's the Ezreal catch. The bot play didn't end up mattering that much. It was purely the Ezreal catch into the Baron, I think, that actually won them.
Oh, that's what wins Fnatic the game. But there's something that gets HKA pretty... Because they take bot turret, they go top, they take top turret, and then they start trading, and they trade favorably, and they get 2 turrets in the top lane.
Oh,
and then they get the bot... Oh, they get 1 in the top and 2 in the bot.
HKA gets both the turrets bot lane, and then like they swap at top and get 2 turrets there and hold on to your second tier 2 on bot lane. During this entire thing, though, it was so fun. I'm watching this Ezreal jungle, I'm just like, what is this guy doing? Because like, when you're playing Ezreal, you have to get a lead to be good. And then what happens is, I don't know if you guys remember, but it's 2v3 on the top lane, and Ezreal just like shifts into like try to harass the Janna. Gets Malphite snared instantly, just dies. And I'm just like, wait, what? Like all they have to do is just slowly poke people down and just hold like the wave, and they're good.
Yeah, Godquai. That's the Godquai special.
Yeah, Godquai is an 80 carry who
80 carry,
became a jungler.
Very popular player in the region. Was known for his Vayne. Notorious.
He was known for his Vayne.
Okay, I have really strong negative opinions on this guy, but I haven't watched him recently. Just back in 2015 when they were trying to qualify for Worlds, he's 100% the reason they didn't. But they moved him into the jungle position. He's not a hindrance to the team most of the time, but the Ezreal, as someone who played 80 carry for so many years, I thought he'd be a better Ezreal jungle. I thought that would fit into his skill set, but he's actually better at Gragas than he is at Ezreal, which was kind of sad.
Yeah, it's like a bigger buffer to fuck up, where like, if you mess up on Ezreal, you're in a lot of trouble. And my big problem with this game was just like, I felt like HKA had no idea how to 1-3-1 because they have Shen Kassadin, and they never like two-man the Maokai with it because they have double TP, they have globals.
Even then, they didn't even set up for the 1-3-1 to like, we're going into like the 20-minute mark. There was a clean 10 minutes where I'm just like, what's the only thing that happens? Broxa tries to Gragas body slam someone, and then ultis the guy into the wall, and he gets away.
Kassadin tried to kill Xayah, has no armor, almost dies.
And flashes away.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's it. That's what happened in 10 minutes. I'm actually watching this game being like, oh my god. But
mid outer turret is up the entire time.
They 4-manned mid. Kassadin lived there for like 5 minutes. That one was really frustrating.
So but even after all this time, they're getting set up. They're at the point where they're strong enough to 1-3-1. They set up the lanes correctly, and then randomly Caps gets a catch onto Ezreal, like a Cassio ulti, which like gets the kill and they get Baron off of it. And you're just like, this is how Fnatic wins the game? I mean, I guess, dude. They sure have it. But, like, it doesn't feel good.
I wish they lost.
It doesn't feel good.
That's the thing. It's like, I feel like people will think I sell EU out for that. But it would have been better for Fnatic if they lost as a team. They would have learned something. Now it's just like, oh, whatever, we're fine. Bad team will win.
I'd hope they learned something from that because it was like, yo, you can't do that. And then, luckily, they don't do that again. Caps just pops off.
So like this is a game where I was like worried for Caps because I'm like, wow, Caps is getting like completely just outplayed in terms of impact, pressure. He's taking a counter pick matchup, but it gets pushed out, and then like got ganked by HKA, like literally lost like a big lead in the mid lane, and it just looks miserable. But then, they win. They get the Baron. Game's over.
I guess.
And it's like I understand what they want. They found a look in that position. Okay, it worked out, but not how you want it to go. Because at some point, Shen Kassadin can't be stopped 1-3-1.
Yeah, and it felt like they should have reached that point.
They felt like they hit that point.
They hit that point. They should have been unstoppable. Game 2 rolls around. Caps is on Cassio again and starts hulking out real hard.
Oh yeah.
It's not quite as hard as the Talia game.
But no, it's pretty bad. We're talking like non-stop pressure on the Jace, non-stop pressure. Jace has to always go like back early or just like gets caught off because he has to blow summoners. It's bad. Caps plays this game really, really well. And he draws a lot of pressure and then uses the pressure to, I think, roam up a lot. He ended up roaming top lane to kill Rumble. I think he ended up going he went top lane and turned the gank, got a 3-for-0 with Cassio because he collapses 5 because of course Jace can't make it. He can't cut through Cassio.
He's too weak at this point.
So yeah, I think he just completely out pressured the mid laner, and him and Brox are just like 2v5'd early game.
Which is good, like, because if you've been watching Fnatic at all this year, Brox has been like non-existent in the early game outside of a few ganks bottom lane. He's really struggled to actually like set stuff up. And he didn't exactly set stuff up this game, but he was like playing around his mid laner.
Yeah, I think you don't need, if your mid lane's winning as a jungler, your job is just to walk with your mid laner somewhere.
Yeah, which is good.
It's either you walk mid lane and kill him, or you walk side lanes and kill them. And like he did that this game. I thought he did play pretty well.
Yeah, so that was good. Do you have anything else to say about this game? Because it was pretty stompy.
That game was stompy, but I think it segues nicely into Game 3, because the thing that I like about Game 3 coming into it, Caps is on Talia, and this time it's not just Brox following Caps around. Brox actually starts ganking mid. And like, holy shit, Brox gank mid. It's like a really big deal.
God.
It's such a
and
hard...
you want to talk about this level... Okay, so Vlad blows flash at level 1. Cool. You know what you do when you blow flash level 1? When you get to level 2, you hold the point into your ability because jugglers do stupid shit sometimes. Do you really think that gank should have worked out from the jungler? Really? I saw that.
I don't care why it works. I care that he showed up.
Okay.
This man is the father that returned after buying
What?
cigarettes 20 years later.
This could have been like a game-losing early game gank, because like he just gives up so much to make this play if Vladimir holds the point and skills W. But instead, he skills E because everyone just like does that because that's what they think of, and it works. And it's like I look at this, I'm just like, I can't believe this worked. I was so mad.
And the funny thing was, like, Mission played the Vladimir from behind actually decently well and was able to like to keep trading summoners with Caps, almost getting the all-in kills.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, if he was even or ahead, he probably would kill Caps a couple times, but he couldn't. And then Talias just starts getting on the map way faster.
Oh, and this is the funniest game because it's like, okay, well, after this gank, doesn't Sedge try to kill Caps left side? He dies
They
there.
immediately
Yeah.
kill Sedge,
And then
they
both
go
of
top.
them run top lane and kill top. And I look at this situation, I'm like, they lost. Like, literally 5 minutes. That's all it took for this game to lose.
The game is over 5 minutes. It gets even worse by 10 minutes. We're talking like a 3,000 or 4,000 gold lead at 10.
Yeah, and this is a game where I'm like, oh, Caps and Brooks just walk together and they do shit together. That's great. This is really good because this is exactly what you're supposed to do with a fed mid laner and a good jungler, you know? And I'm at least glad I saw that.
Yeah, I think it's a good look for Fnatic. Unfortunately, it didn't close out as cleanly as I would have liked, and Caps just decided that every time wall was up, he was going to try to use it to wall somebody off of something, just randomly.
Yeah.
And half the time, there's like no creep wave on the tower, but he's like, that guy can't approach the tower now for
And
2 seconds.
it's like, also, my team can't either because I walled off my jungler who's going to wrap around behind for a gank.
Yeah, and so it's like, it was just super sloppy finish, honestly. If Vlad can find flanks onto this team comp, you lose.
And he found a couple in the
Yeah,
game.
he found a couple, and you're just like, oh, God. You're giving him these angles when you're disgustingly far ahead.
Yeah, if they didn't have such a hilariously large gold lead,
It
those
went-
flanks would have.
It went like 3 to 4K up to like 7K, back down to 3K.
And there was a team fight where like they almost lost. It was like a super close team fight where at the end they clean up because they're able to chase like an elongated team fight that covers a full minute. But then you're just like, wow, they needed that to get the Baron to win the game. Well, all right, I guess.
Yeah, it wasn't super clean, but they do get the 3.
I mean, after this series, like, what do you think about Fnatic? You just are you when you rate the teams that move on, like, are you just like Fnatic is better than C9?
No, I would have put Fnatic above C9. I think they're
More
two
elite?
different. No, I think they're different styles of teams. And I don't know if we want to talk about it now or finish Group D because we have to remember that 1907 Fenerbahce has also qualified.
Yes, I can't
to the
wait
World
to talk
Championship.
about 1907 Fenerbahce.
Oh, you'd be good on broadcast.
1907 Fenerbahce got so fucking lucky. The way Lion got screwed getting WE and C9.
Yep.
Fenerbahce is complete other end. They get the easiest group with no clear number 1 seed. So they can take the number 1 seed and then they get the easiest pool 2 seed draw.
In the entire tournament. Like, that is the easiest. I think the only team you could have hoped for more than that would have been Rampage or Chaos Latin Gamers.
I mean, if they got Rampage, that's there's no
Yeah.
way. But no, yeah, they're like the third worst team, and so that they're the team that moved on.
Yeah.
It's so ugly. Like, I don't really want to talk too much about this series.
Yeah.
Just like
And to be fair, okay,
this is the 4-game series.
This is the only 4-game series we're going to talk about today. Everyone else is 3-0, and this series is somewhat close.
It felt like, especially in Game 3,
If you look at the kill score, it felt close.
Yeah,
If you look at the gold,
yeah.
it was even
No,
every time they had 6
you,
kills.
you kind of always knew who the better team was. Minus the second game where they ended up losing, you kind of was like, oh, this team is better.
and anytime someone is constantly making plays to get even in the game versus get ahead, this is the old FlyQuest problem for C9 fans, FlyQuest problem for NA fans. It's like, one esports is like crazy, they're doing all this stuff, but they just can't CS for shit.
Yeah, they're like 30 CS behind them both the solo lanes, but they're up 4 kills, and
They got at one point, it was Game 3, they had 3 kills, the enemy team had 0, and they broke first turret, so they have first blood on turret and kill, and they're 200 gold up.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck? How are they like not up more? This should be like a blowout game. If any other team made those plays, they're up 3K, like 2K.
It was really, oh god, it was so frustrating. But this is the thing, is it's like if a team looks mediocre in macro coming out of a play-in group, right? You're like, okay, maybe they can fix some stuff. But if a team looks mediocre mechanically, like, you have no reason to believe that in a day that guy's going to suddenly learn how to CS, right?
Yeah.
That's true, especially over a large sample size, like multiple games. Maybe one game, he's rusty,
Yeah.
he didn't wake up well today. But
Oh,
like,
the unlucky gank and he fell behind.
right. Where like this game, you're clearly like this team is better. It's just like this one game didn't work out, but throughout that whole series, you're like they have 30 CS leads. They're just like playing like way better. Okay, I think this series is pretty much Frozen had a really good series.
Frozen had a good series. I think the one game that one managed to win, they played kind of well in the early game and they snowballed. And ultimately, I think Fenerbahce could have been fine, but they didn't respect the Galio enough. I think they tried to force too many
That,
things.
and then the bigger problem, double Mountain Dragon, they just burned a Baron down at 22 minutes.
You want to talk about that one game? The one game was game 2, 1 versus Fenerbahce. Daldrin dies to the most obvious Rek'Sai gank camp. You know the Rek'Sai path where you take XP Quints?
XP Quints, double red clear, Stellcraft
Stellcraft
top side,
top side, 240.
250, 250.
Yeah, he dies, and I think he just repeatedly dies the rest of the game.
And Thaldrin's usually the guy for Fenerbahce who's even.
He just always goes even. It doesn't matter what they pick into him, he always goes even. He's never a liability. He never wins, but he's never a liability. And this was the first game where he just got smashed.
Yeah, he was a complete liability. Once again, though, the game was relatively close in goal despite one smashing. And they just finally...
It won with Baron buff over Dove mid lane. And then, Fenerbahce was like, wait, they suck. We got this. And then they overextended trying to chase, and then they got wiped. And I'm just like, no, you guys had this, dude. Oh, my God.
I love the we suck. they suck. We've got this.
I mean, you could tell in 2 of the 4 games, one has to get Baron instantly. Just to make
and
the
they
game,
get it 2 of the 4 games.
They get it instantly, almost no contest, and the game's even once they get Baron. And you're just like, they need the Baron to even have a chance at this game.
Ugh, this series also had just horrible drafts from multiple teams.
Sedge top lane, dude, you don't like it?
They take Sedge, and then the enemy team takes Gnar, and then they go, I know what we should do. We should get our Olaf player Olaf, and in order to do that, we must flex the Sejuani into the Gnar. And then they cheese gank at level 2. They kill the Gnar, and then 10 minutes in the game, Sejuani's down 40 CS.
Yeah, because the Sedge top lane, it's okay, I can see it. It's not terrible.
It's another tank maybe.
Yeah, it's not even that terrible. But it's the way they got ahead was okay, we're gonna get him the small lead, and then we're gonna make that crazy bot lane play where we get 2 kills or 1 kill and first tower, and we're gonna bring the Sedge down there for it too. And so when they all committed to that mid and top lane, at the end of that gank, up first tower, down 30 CS mid and top, and I'm just like, what are you guys doing? Why did the Sedge even TP there? Just let her farm, because later in her game, she's within 20 , but
she gets it almost to even.
Right.
Because the LeBlanc was popping off too.
It's just never, for me, Sejuani's just never going to be that great top laner. And ultimately, Olaf actually lost them the game in so many ways. Just not only, 4 lane was fine in the early game, but there was just this late game point where I don't see how this guy can be an Olaf main when he doesn't understand that when the second you're not ahead, you can't run face first into a Fed 80 carry.
Fed Twitch with John Shield.
Okay, we're talking drafts. We're talking about bad drafts, right? This team first picks Janna. In their first ban phase, they ban Alistar. You know the number 1 pick you want to play against as Janna?
Alistar.
It's Alistar. So I'm just what is going on here?
Well, this is also after one on blue side had first pick Lulu, and now they were banning it away red side.
And Rakan was up, Zaya was up, Jarvan was up, Tristana was up. They're so... I don't even know. I can't remember each individual shitty draft.
So the other team, the other team picks Janna, and they have to pick the AD in the second rotation. One bans Kalista, Lulu, Kog'Maw, and their last ban, instead of banning Twitch, because they already have Triss, they banned Cho'Gath. So the other team just gets Twitch for free, which is the only champion that is impossible for the comp to do.
Also, game 1 they banned Cog Triss and left Kalista up, and then Padden takes Kalista, and it's one of the only games the entire tournament he wins laning phase.
Yeah,
it's the only time he wins laning phase.
And so I'm looking at a lot of these drafts. I'm just what is going on here? I'm not.
Also, I love how every time Kalista's picked, none of us can think of a logical reason why they would leave it open, other than this guy must think that this other guy sucks.
But that's
the only justifiable reason.
There's I can understand if you're taking because if the champion doesn't get a lane lead, she's not very good actually.
Yeah.
But you're guaranteed a lane lead unless you strongly counterpick. If you're going up against Kalista Thresh, you're taking something stupid, Tristana Morgana. Literally something built to I want to beat you guys.
They took Triss Alistar into, I believe it was Kalista Thresh?
That was C9.
No. It was Kalista something. It was Triss Alistar into Kalista something, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, this was Kalista Morgana, right?
Game 1. Oh, was it Kalista
Morgana? I think it was
Kalista Morgana into, what was it, Triss game 1 draft?
It was Kalista Morgana with Lulu Zaya.
Lulu Zaya. Fine lane to try and bully, but the jungler cheese ganks top again, level 3, and they have to sack the bot lane. So, you leave up the Kalista, you probably want to shit on it with this Lulu pick, and then you don't put resources down there to do it.
And like I know what the Kalista looks like if she's behind going to mid game. She's useless. Actually,
Yeah.
not useful.
You got Berserker Greaves, Cutlass, 15 minutes in the game, fucking useless.
Yeah, and the other person is like Ardent Twitch or Ardent Tristana. It's like, well, you lose.
The thing that struck out to me for Team 1 the most is that like it feels like they're coming from CB LOL, and like people must just not be punishing them from watching their finals. If people just aren't punishing them for like making these kind of plays, like when they go top lane and they commit, their bot lane doesn't immediately, like the enemy team bot lane doesn't immediately go hard. Whereas the second like 4 lane shows in the top lane, like Fenerbahce are good enough to go, all right, we're just gonna push your shit in. Like there's literally nothing you can do here.
It's just like a series where it's like, okay, we're just gonna constantly like try to kill the other guy. Like if we think they're better, we're just gonna jump in. And I think going to game 4, this was the one draft I was like, wow, this was great. Like Fenerbahce chose Soul, and I was like, this pick literally makes it so one can't win the game.
Yeah, and there's one point in the game where they get this double kill bot lane. Aurelion Sol leaves lane as the double kill starts, and he gets down there and gets his own double kill.
Yeah, and then you're just like, wait, this one pick makes it so they have nothing to work with because they're not winning the game late.
They don't win mid lane because they just are mechanically too bad. Their bot lane is the only one that's mechanically better because Padden sucks dick.
And Soul's literally like shoving mid and like
going
hugging like the bot river the entire game.
So here's the worst part about this is that like normally when someone picks Aurelion Sol, I'm like, this pick is broken because people don't get enough practice against it, and it fundamentally changes the way you play the early game, right? It's like a Shen that has ult at level 2.
You know
But Marth plays Aurelion Sol. He
really?
played that champion in this fucking tournament. Like, how does he not know that this champion can roll?
No, I think the hardest thing about Aurelion Sol is you have to know that like the way you beat Aurelion Sol is you actually camp that lane. Because you should think of Aurelion Sol as a global.
Yeah.
So like
exactly.
you can't go the side lanes. You just like for instance, one of the best teams that did like okay against Aurelion Sol this year was FlyQuest. They like literally like level 2 ganked it, level 3 ganked it. Even though I think it was against CLG. CLG won the game. They like demonstrated how to keep a Sol down. Where I thought that's what was gonna happen this game. I'm like, okay, this team gets Sol. Okay, what's the other team got? They got Rek'Sai, great ganker.
It was Rek'Sai Ori.
Yeah,
Ori was the issue that I had. Yeah.
Great. Ori's actually one of the better picks into Soul if you can make it even like to like
2-6
to like 6 to like level 8.
That makes sense.
But then like they couldn't, and they didn't put any pressure on it, and all of a sudden like this guy just like died everywhere. Like literally, Rek'Sai would walk into the other jungle, die instantly because they get collapsed.
He got caught off by Gragas.
Gragas Soul. It was
Forlan would just like tunnel blindly into the other team's jungle too. He would just drop his tunnels anywhere.
Yeah, so it was obviously like a thing where they didn't have good strategy against Soul, and he just took over the game. Frozen crushed this game. 4-game series. Congratulations, Fenerbahce.
Great draw, Fenerbahce. You earned it. Kind of.
Wow, dude, come on.
I'm
just wait till the group draw stage. Just wait. We'll see what happens.
I don't think there's any definitive evidence that Fenerbahce wasn't the best wildcard team in the tournament or best emerging region team in the tournament.
That's true.
I don't think you could argue 100%.
Lion
100%.
I would like to see the Lion versus.
I would like to have had them prove it a little more over Lion, over Young Generation, as opposed to over one.
That's the one thing that I think isn't like the best about this format is because of how the groups are split up. There's actually like a lot of. It's hard to definitively say the best emerging region actually came through.
Yeah, and I think it's hard to say they didn't because Fenerbahce did beat HKA. They did look decent.
Yeah, I think they're okay. They're certainly like. I wouldn't argue they're way worse than another representative. I think we got pretty much.
If Young Generation went instead of them, I'd be like sick, but I wouldn't be convinced that it was like.
Right, it's okay.
Yeah. Anyways, moves us to our final series.
This is the time where I'm looking at WE and I'm like, they're gonna smash the series. I think before I watch the series, because I don't stay up for the broadcast, I'm thinking World Elite. People are telling me World Elite is the best Chinese team. Sure, they got kind of fluked out to get here in 3rd place. They're really like the 2nd or 1st best team in China, and I'm just like, oh, okay, 2nd, 1st best team. They should smash this.
They do 3-0, but it's really hard to call this a smash.
It's ugly.
Yeah.
It's not a fun 3-0.
And this is why people talk about Young Generation probably being really good because they have good landing phase and like good plans and stuff.
And really, from Young Generation, you're looking at their mid laner.
Null's
legit. Like actually a good player.
That's the thing is I think that the one region that's like consistently now standing out since Gigabyte Marines is the GPL and specifically Vietnam. Like the fact that Vietnam has enough of a player base to not send only like one team with talented mechanical players, but 2, right, is super impressive to me.
Wait, Sopham didn't even make it this year, so.
Well, he's in China, isn't he?
SFM.
Yeah.
He got
that
imported.
guy was the person I always looked at as like the monster mechanical.
He almost
player.
got brought over to North America by a couple teams.
Oh really?
Yeah, when Graves was like the shit and he was running around with his Berserker Graves.
Oh yeah,
build,
he was just like 1v9 in all the solo queue games. I saw that. He's a extremely talented mechanical player, like literally like the best in the region almost.
Yeah.
No, it's Miles.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miles. We stole over your living room for like an hour.
We probably have like,
We have like
30 minutes. At
Yeah,
most.
you have like 30 minutes left, pretty much. Say hello to the camera, Miles.
No. I gotta go to the pharmacy.
That's Miles, ladies and gentlemen.
Uh,
No, so we're talking about World Elite versus Young Generation.
Yep.
We didn't even start talking about the series, but generally the series was.
So what was game 1? Because I remember game 2 and game 3 pretty well.
I'm looking at it.
Give me the draft. I'll see.
Oh, Jarvan just goes bot lane. Literally, the thing is.
yeah, they're actually not. They're losing bot lane a little bit,
Yeah,
and then
because
they get changed.
the enemy jungler comes bot. Okay, they get a kill onto I think it was the Janna.
It was the Taric.
Or the Taric.
Yeah.
And then after the 80 blows flash, you get the kill on the Taric because the Taric does something stupid, tries to stop the golems and just dies for it. Kandi's like, I'm just gonna kill you, and so he just goes bot, literally chain ganks the lane until they win.
Yeah, it was one of those Lulu Varus lanes, and so like once you shit on the Lulu Varus and get the Xayah
Zayataric?
Taric.
It was
I think it was Trist.
Cog Taric.
Cog Taric.
yeah.
Whatever. Once the hyper-scaling 80 character gets ahead of the
There's like
Varus.
4 ADs. You just have to guess.
Yeah,
like, honestly,
one of those motherfuckers who's at 3 items is
and
ridiculous.
they had Galio, so it was really hard to turn it once you're ahead. And so they had the patented Galio, Jarvan, Rumble. And at the beginning, I hate Rumble, by the way. Usually, it's so conditional. You pick Rumble only on blue side because you pick it on red side, there's so many routes to get ganked, you die like all the time. And then on top of that, you can only really pick it with like Jarvan because he's the only
You need
champion
some kind of
that
synergy.
sets it up well. And like, okay, wait, they did have those. They had Galio, and then like they're in one fight top lane, they literally explode the bot lane with ultis.
And to be fair, it didn't even feel like the Rumble mattered.
No.
Like any top laner would have comboed with that J4 Galio and shit
Rumble
on this
could
game.
have been like Ornn or something stupid, and like it wouldn't have mattered. Literally didn't do anything until like that one.
How
ulti.
mad are you that you're becoming the Ornn god and he's not even played at Worlds?
I don't even care. I think the champ still sucks.
But dude, you're all over Reddit these days.
Dude, I don't know why. People just
People are popping off on your
People
stream.
love
Ornn
my
mastermind.
thoughts. Yeah, people just love my thoughts. I personally single-handedly made a multi-billion-dollar company change the skin, the hair on one skin from teal to blonde.
Did they actually do it?
I have the power. I'm just saying.
Did they actually
If you
change
need
it?
something to, yeah, they did. They literally today they announced that it got changed. Her skin color is now like this.
Actually, like a real person.
Yes, and she has blonde hair now.
You know, there was a front page thread about that before your stream.
Yeah, but like, who cares about that?
Yeah,
Who's
Scarra
gonna-
said.
Yeah, who's gonna even remember that when
Yeah.
he got me?
That's true. Anyways, yeah, game 1, bot lane was like the game plan. They wanted to hold down Mystic or something, and their bot lane goes boom.
Yeah, I think they got the the kill bot lane. Okay, cool. Just take your jungler and go back there at any point, before the Jarvan comes. And they don't do it in time. Jarvan gets the kill, and then when he does come back, Jarvan gets the other kill with the
Yeah.
Taric, and the game's over.
And honestly, 90% of the series feels like Venus just getting outclassed by Condi. Because I feel like Null is fine. I feel like I didn't think Big Cora was great, but he was, because of the power of Lulu Varus, they were like usually doing fine in bottom
Man,
lane.
I think Condi is somewhat overrated. Yeah, he does great. When he does good, he does
Sure,
great.
I'm not trying to say how high he's rated. I'm not
Oh.
trying to compare it. Compared to Venus, he
Venus-
was the better jungler. He
Venus
got out
didn't do
jungled
shit.
by
He
Venus.
is
yeah, yeah.
invisible.
Yeah, I'm not trying to go on a bandstand about Condi. I'm saying Venus
Okay,
got his shit
sorry.
pushed
I
in
hear a
by
lot of
Condi.
people talk really high about Condi, and I've watched like 4 of his 5 games, and so far I'm like, okay, he did great in 2 of them, and then the other 2 I'm like, he did bad in 1, and the other one I'm like,
Condi was someone who is like very erratic, but WE lean on him a lot in the early game because the rest of their team is like relatively passive.
right. The way I see it is like Condi makes all the action happen. So like, if he doesn't exist, World League can't win games. But like,
He also fucks up.
yeah, exactly.
Yep, true.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Second
game
game.
2. This is why we're talking about Condi fucking up,
Oh well, let's just talk.
and he does well.
Yeah, we'll talk about catch-up XP. So we live in a world where
He takes Ezreal.
Yeah, he takes Ezreal. Again, and the other person picks Lee Sin, which actually okay into Ezreal, not bad. So Ezreal goes red buff, ganks top lane, gets flash, runs mid lane, E's to mid lane, doesn't get anything, runs back top lane to kill top lane. He has 2 CS at 4 minutes and he's level 2. The other jungler, Lee Sin, takes his bot side. He's level 4 when the other junglers are level 2. Then they both hit level 5 within 30 seconds.
You don't want to know how he does it? Takes Krugs, ketchup XP, baby. One camp,
Takes
level 4.
Takes Raptors, takes Krugs.
Level
He's
4.
good.
I know, and I'm just like, I look at this and I'm just like, this can't be happening. Like, this can't happen.
Yeah, but like, I think the core concept of ketchup XP is good, but obviously someone is eventually going to figure out how to game the system. And when
Right.
you're the level 2 Ezreal, clearly you are gaming the system.
Yeah, so like he got the gank off, and I'm like happy it happened. I'm just like, if World Elite needs this guy to do what he does, this to like win games, he can do it in this meta. It's possible.
And luckily enough, it did not win them the game, so you can't be like necessarily, wow, what a broken strat.
But what did was
Baron.
Cho'Gath,
Yeah.
not pressing
Oh,
ult.
so literally what happened in this game is that they just got Young Generation gets a huge lead.
Null plays great. He gets his Syndra. It's by far his best champion.
And not only that, like he blows open an early game. Like
just gets a CS lead mid, roams bottom, blows bottom up.
double kill, gets the first tower, and they're just like crushing this game. They find the rotation top. Null just like kills Ezreal in the jungle on the top rotation. So this guy's going crazy.
Yeah, Ben walks up to him at one point for some reason, just like a Muppet, and just gets one shot, just a nice quick casual R press. Like this
Yeah.
guy is hilariously far ahead, like so strong.
And before their Baron, the very first Baron, which gets stolen, they just win a skirmish 4-0.
Yeah, they actually win a skirmish too soon. They win it at 17 minutes, so they're like, fuck, we have nothing to do.
They're playing so well that they actually cannot end the game.
Yeah, so at
faster.
21 minutes, they tried for the Baron, and they lose the Baron with Cho'Gath on the team.
To be fair, Cho'Gath doesn't have Feast at that point.
Because they picked the
because
enemy
he
top lane.
he just immediately ate.
Right.
There's a Maokai.
Okay.
Mid laner. What was she playing that game? Corki?
Corki, yeah, that's
so
true.
Oh,
he,
yeah.
he just eats Corki,
They
kills
got
Corki,
a
then they
double
go Baron.
kill, they do Baron, and instead of playing the Baron out correctly, they lose Baron. Okay, whatever, not a big deal.
They had a 5k gold lead, almost 6k when they lost this Baron.
Okay, I was like, okay, you know what? This sucks. But they can still win the game. It's not the end of the world. And then 9 minutes later, Ezreal steals Baron.
Again.
And then you're
And
just
this
like...
one sucks because Cho'Gath has Feast, and neither jungler smites, and he gets it with Q.
Yeah,
As he's getting kicked through the air by a Lee
and
Sin.
so like not only it's terrible. Not only do they get this, they get the mid tower and they get Infernal Dragon. So you're just like, World League got away with murder this game. Like actually, I don't know what happened, but like yeah, Young Generation just didn't have good Baron control. Like terrible Baron
The
control.
one thing to say, Young Generation definitely effed it up with Baron, but like World Elite, there were a couple situations where I think they could have won out on fights with individual talent, because like Mystic was playing really well, but like this was the game where Ben was playing Janna and Ben was playing terribly.
Ben, so we were talking to Frost about this a little bit. He plays all the regular season games, but anytime there's a major competition, Zero gets subbed in. He played MSI, Rift Rivals, and now
That'd be terrible for confidence issues. Like
Well, the problem is he sucks. Like his Janna game was awful.
Yeah.
you know, like I want to talk. Like I'll give you that. Like maybe Ben just sucked on the Janna game.
In the Tara game,
Yeah, I mean, this game, dude, I'm watching the Cho'Gath on this team. Who was their top laner for Young Generation?
Oh, Nocti.
This guy got picked off 5
In the
times.
side lanes.
Yeah, he
After the
clearly
first
tilted.
after
He
the first
clearly
Baron
tilted.
steal, he tilted so hard.
I'm just watching this guy. I'm like, Young Generation can win this game. This guy is just getting picked off in like the dumbest ways.
After they lose the Baron, it was, about a 4k gold lead still. It actually gets close to 0 because Nocti keeps dying in
He
side lanes.
chain dies, I think, 3 times.
Yeah, and it's like okay, I like for them to play better macro. You can't play a macro game with 4 people. Like it's just not possible.
But I can get that frustration. But the issue, there's 2 moments in the game where this is, if I was watching from WE's perspective, where I would have immediately known it's time to bench Ben. Lee Sin, ward hops, Q's the Ezreal, Janet is right there, has ult, has Q, pushes 0 buttons, he Q's in, kicks him back to the team, Janet flashes out, exhausts somebody, ults for nothing, and dies anyway. Like, yay, Ben!
Did Zero get put in for the next game? Then?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he does.
Z-
And he plays a monster fucking champion.
Yeah, there's also a fight in the mid lane where Mystic gets jumped on by Big Koro, and then he tries to flash to Big Koro, ends up
Almost
in the middle
flashes into a Varus ultimate.
yeah.
Panic flashes from over here into the back half of the Varus ult animation, which doesn't hit him, right? But it's just why are you flashing there in the first place? Yeah, it's clearly bad play.
Okay. Going on to the third game, World League got away with murder in the second game. This is the game where I thought that Xie actually played pretty well. Like this, like literally had so much damage, was able to keep his team back in the game, and was pretty much always relevant in team fights.
Yeah.
Aside from getting picked that one top tri-bush.
And bot lane played really aggressive this time. Like Mystic and Ben played so much more aggro, or Mystic and Zero, excuse me, than Mystic and Ben play.
Yeah.
And it was Januzaj, and he was just like always walking into the Rakan W's and like trading.
Like, actually, I agree that Shea kept him in, but like the second Young Generation tried to force team fights, even when they had a favorable team fight setup, even when he got picked off into the 4v5 team fight, like that's the moment where you're like, this team is just better at team fighting, because Janna played that fight perfectly, Mystic played that fight perfectly. To be fair, Young Generation, I think Galio ulted at a horrible time, but
this is such a
he's Mystic Zai ulted the Galio ult to avoid
this was such a weird game for me. Or like I guess we're on the third game, right?
Yeah.
Because in one situation, Young Generation's up ahead. They're up early, right? They get a clean pick on Shea, so it's a 4v5 fight in the red side jungle, and they lose the fight 4-2. Because they just start clumping in on one location, and you just get pounded by everything from World Elite.
Well, they were trying to hop onto Mystic. This is the fight that we're talking about. But Mystic
yeah.
does a good job dodging the Galio ult, so he gets out. And then, like, for some reason, I don't know what Venus was doing, but Venus just, like, left.
Venus's target selection was ass.
Null gets picked off, like, really far ahead because he's way too overextended as LeBlanc. And it's just, like, it says something when, like, yeah, they're all maybe trying to focus Mystic. The fight ends with him flashing forward with ulti
And
to
full
clean up the
HP.
fight. Yeah, and I'm just like, how is he even able to do that? Like, shouldn't he have to ulti at some
Rakan,
point
Galio,
during the game?
Lee Sin are the only people. Yeah, and I mean, one, his positioning is good. Two, Ben has, I think, a good Monsoon, but the target selection is bad.
Yeah.
Big Coral's like non-existent in this fight because I think he tries to wrap
He's like in the
around
bottom.
red.
Yeah,
like
he gets
for
cut
some
off by
reason.
somebody.
The target selection is definitely bad on the side of YG, but like, maybe it's more on YG than it is on WE. I felt like it was WE playing good, but at the same time, I was like, I think the Galio ult wasn't great. I think Big Coral was non-existent.
I mean,
so.
I think as soon as YG gets the pick onto Shea, they should win the fight. Or they should at least make the fight like they can disengage the fight.
And the engage started so good.
But
Yeah,
like Rakan gets a 3-man charm knockup.
But like the Galio ult, in my opinion, you should have immediately Galio ulted as soon as they hit the first couple CCs. Because
Right.
Jaina immediately is forced to Monsoon. Galio then comes in and gets the follow-up. And if she holds Monsoon, she dies. Like, that was my read on the fight. Because it was just like a second and a half before
Yeah,
Galio.
so it's just misexecuted, and World Elite executed very well afterwards.
Yeah.
So after this happens, World Elite rush Baron, like straight up rush Baron, get it, run down mid lane. LeBlanc gets picked on the tier 2, and they just end the game.
Yep.
And so it's like, oh, okay, well I guess. See, this is what happens when good teams get Baron.
it's over.
It's over. There's no like like for the most part. At worst, they get 2 inhibs, and the next push wins. Most commonly, 1 pick, game over.
Yep. So that is the final best of 5 series. WE move on. So what we're gonna say is, what do you think, like ranking the pool 1 of the teams making it to World's group stage from the play-in stage? Because you have WE, C9, Fnatic,
God.
and 1907 Fenerbahce
Oh, it's just
Esport.
1907 Fenerbahce Esport is 4th. We can beat around the bush.
Sure,
Let's start there.
easy. I would put C9 first. I like what they've done better than either of the other teams.
I think it's C9 or WE. But
So-
like even after that shaky game, I don't know why. I believe in WE, man.
So here's what I'll say. C9 in North America had the fastest win time. When they remember at the end of the season how bad they shit on kids.
Yeah.
They just like C9 is this team that is, I don't know why, but they are like built to destroy Josh Kim walking in the door.
Just built to
Yeah,
do
they're
it.
still doing this shit?
We're almost done.
We started at 3. It's like 140. It's not even that late.
At least fix the camera.
What are you,
There's
what are you
nothing-
talking
there's
about?
nothing to fix about the camera.
We have
Shut up,
top-notch
chat. Shut up.
production.
Who wrote lotion on the camera?
This is what chat is here for. Abuse the chat, Mark. Abuse the chat.
Twitch chat in person with Josh Kim. That's not any better.
so
We
much
are
worse.
horribly crooked now.
You don't even look at the angle the camera's at. You just come in and just like
just look at it.
slap that
What
shit
the-
down.
Dude, use your eyes. It's so crooked. Look how crooked.
Look at how perfect it is. That's way better. At least you guys are in focus. Nah, well, kind of.
I turned off autofocus because it was bad. But now the camera's just straight like.
Look at that. Josh K3123 says it's better. It's not me, I swear to God.
Okay.
Can we at least get the camera straight?
Can we just?
Maybe
Yeah,
maybe you
a
could.
little
Wait, you didn't actually put this on anything.
There's no base.
wonder.
There's no
Where'd you
base.
put the base?
Fed has the base. Fed has had the base for weeks.
I think you should put the mic on there because the mic doesn't matter how well fixed it is.
The mic does matter because I don't know what Draco's is gonna do. He might have fancy, this, and the mic's falling down. It was fine. Now we're horribly crooked.
Whatever.
God.
And we're up angled.
This
Like
camp show
good thing we
just
got
ruined.
half the ceiling. In this
All right,
shot.
you guys were gonna tell me about something about Cloud9 being dominant.
Well, I just don't want the chats. We lost chat.
All right, so Cloud9, they're super dominant. They're one of the teams that like honestly remind me of when they get first Baron, the game's over.
Yeah.
So the point I was making as here, look, let me just turn this for you so you can see it.
Why don't you just switch the tripods out? Who did this production?
Me, because I woke up at 1:30 or 2:30 right before Scarra got here because I'm on 6 hours of sleep. Anyways, the point I was making is Cloud9, they are like a team designed to smash bad teams. And let's be honest, this was a tournament full of bad teams. So this is like the ideal situation for Cloud9 to be like, look how good we are. We're destroying people worse than us, which is what they're known to do. But when they play people as good as them and they don't get the early game leads, this team struggles really hard.
To be fair though, in that regard, I think Impact looks better than he did in the normal
Sneaky
season.
same way.
Sneaky the same way, and Contracts is looking better too. So while I do agree with you all of that, from what I've seen from this event, they're looking like the best team coming out
Let's look down a little more.
because they're the least rocky. It's not like they're like, but they're just solid. And I look at World Elite, I'm like, what happened here, dude?
Ultimately, I think valuing the consistency is a good angle, right? I think
Right.
if that's your logic for placing C9 first, then I'll give it to you. Just because I think best of 5, I still don't know. Like I still might give the edge
Right,
if they have
right.
to play each other. But in best of 1s, teams that smash early game are like always favored in my opinion.
Right, but I think the thing is like especially against bad teams. Like, will they smash this early game versus AHQ? Maybe.
Yes.
Will they smash against EDG and SKT? Probably not.
Not SKT. I don't know what to expect from EDG.
EDG is a big question mark for me.
What about SKT, dude? You don't think Jensen just?
What
Take
are
it.
you?
Did you watch last
fan
year?
service, man?
No, I'm just kidding.
Did you watch last year?
Yeah, I did. That was not fun.
So what I'll say is WE in their own region and what everyone talks about them, slow team, slow paced team. They win at like the 30-minute mark, so they're not going to look dominant. C9 is like, we killed you all at 15 minutes against bad teams. So like in that regard, the tournament is stacked in a way that makes C9 look like the best team, but they still might be.
This is what I'll say is that I think it's first C9 or WE. I think the other one is second. I think Fnatic is the definitive third.
Yeah.
So,
I'd agree with
just
that.
for dude, you're European, dude. Why is Fnatic so bad?
So my biggest issue with Fnatic, everybody remembers Rift Rivals, right? And like the big revelation post Rift Rivals in Europe getting smashed was supposed to be like, hey, our junglers basically need to be better.
Yeah.
Was the bottom line because Contracts, everyone else, even Mike Young, we were getting our shit kicked in the early game. And NA plays generally much more aggressive than Europe. And I feel like for a week and a half, our junglers tried, and then everything went back and we just forgot about it, right? Because, and I don't want to put it on Broxa, but like, Caps collapses, and Caps is this big weak point when he gets pressured in mid lane, and he needs someone there that can either counter gank or get him a lead to set him up. Now, I think Reckless and Jesus are usually fine on the bottom side of the map. I think they're really good. I think Soaz is also usually fine, but like, C9 can't mid lane to just beat the shit out of Fnatic, right? And then we saw mid lane collapse again. Like, this is still a weakness. This weakness hasn't been fixed, and it has to be fixed somehow. Either Caps needs to be, I don't know, play safer or be less vulnerable to getting camped, if that's the
Don't
thing.
take LeBlanc into Syndra and fall down 30 CS and get solo killed twice.
Yeah, that's good too. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a multi-step process. But like, and maybe I'm overcritical because I've watched so much of this team that I have really high standards for them. But I see the same weaknesses we saw in Europe, and the fact that that hasn't improved makes it hard for me to like have faith that this team is going to just smash.
Fair enough. I mean, I have pretty much the same opinion that even the, I don't know what it is. I watch the games. I'm like, okay, I can at least see where World really wins, right? They have, even though like I don't like Condi as much as most people do, I think that he enables your team. Like without him, team's just like useless.
Yeah.
With Fnatic, I would have been okay giving them more props, but the first game really scared me. I was just like, oh god, dude, in that best of 5, that
and the young generation games for me, because like Null's a good mid laner. He took it to them pretty bad both times that they played him.
yeah, and I think that walking into the group stage, like he's not getting easier competition. He's gonna be going up into harder ones. So if their exploitable like thing is mid lane, like your mid lane cannot be exploited to the point where you lose the game. And if that's Fnatic right now, they're in trouble.
Yeah, and I think that the other issue that I have is that Broxton pretty much plays Gragas and Gragas only. And like the thing about Broxton that a lot of other pros in Europe have said, a lot of other junglers, is like when this guy has time to spam one champion, he's good. He's really good. Because when he came into the league and he was basically like Elise and Elise one trick, or that's what people were calling him, he was sick. Like he was playing mechanically like a god. But his Gragas has never looked super good. And Gragas is a champion where if you play it like okay, it's probably can be successful because it has so much. But like the kit is so stacked that if you're a really good Gragas, even after like the body slam hitbox nerfs, you can do pretty much anything with that champion. Disengage, engage, force fights, body slam flash is still crazy. And the fact that that kit is still not being pushed to its limits, despite the fact that it's pretty much the only champion that Brox has been playing, like that is another reason I think that to be scared for Fnatic.
Okay.
So then moving into where they all got placed.
The play-ins.
No, the actual group stage.
Oh, yeah, the group stage, sorry.
Yeah, the draws, because we had C9 end up in Group A, Fnatic end up in Group B, 19 Fenerbahce into Group C.
Whoa,
And
1907 Fenerbahce, get the whole thing.
What'd I say?
You said 19-0 Fenerbahce.
19-0, fuck me, Fettuccine.
1, 2, 3, 5 Fibonacci.
Oh,
Yeah, the
my
1, 2,
God.
3, 5 Fibonacci was something we wanted to drop on the desk the entire time.
We were told not to.
Yeah. But yeah, they end up in Group C and World League in Group D.
All right, Group A.
A lot of this is going to hinge, I think, heavily on what EDG and AHQ look like. I think ultimately we can expect SKT to be first seed no matter what.
All the, like, because I follow, like, a couple, like, regional specialists for, like, Garena, AHQ, and they're all just saying AHQ is not the best team in that region. And
They said that Hong Kong Attitude was better than
yeah,
AHQ.
and
Everyone said that.
And,
yeah,
and from what I understand, that's really bad. Like, really bad for AHQ. Like, maybe they look in form. It is best of ones. I don't know what to expect. But, like, I'm not going in with super high hopes for them.
Yeah,
No.
I think historically for LMS, they've always been super top heavy, and I think a lot of the reason that they're top teams have remained top teams is because they're scrimming LPL teams and they're scrimming LCK teams. Because when you're a top team normally in a region and a top heavy region, it's really hard to improve. And I don't know if that is stagnated, but pretty much everyone I talked to about the LMS, and when you look at the playoffs, like this looks like one of the weakest years for LMS in terms of their top teams.
Yeah, and I don't want to underestimate them because LMS usually does really well.
Yeah.
But this is a region where like even their like analysts are saying they're not very hopeful. They're like hoping that their region wins 2 games.
It's hard because it's like on the one hand with AHQ you have Ziv in the top lane, and Ziv is a monster. The fact that he has not left the LMS for the LPL and been paid.
He got offers.
Oh, I'm sure, because he got hilariously large amounts of money. Like you must, he has.
He got, from what I heard, he got good offers, and he decided to stay like because he really liked the team.
Yeah, and I think, but then you have like Westor in the mid lane, and
Or Chowie.
or Chowie, and neither one is like Chowie's a little better, but like it's hard to have faith in AHQ.
All right, who's second place? Because it seems like for everyone's gonna say SKT goes first. I think in best of ones, SKT will drop a game.
Yeah,
SKT, I mean, historically in group stage,
They drop a game.
yeah, they drop a
they
game.
might even drop
maybe-
2.
maybe
Week
drop 2.
1, we don't know. They could have the complete wrong read on the meta like 2015, but then week 2 they'll come up. And
Yeah,
smash.
I think whatever happens, they're coming in top 2. They're gonna be coming out number 1.
Yeah,
probably.
even if in some fucked up way they don't end up number 2, they're
I just
100% getting out.
I just feel bad at that point because
Yeah.
whatever first seed from another region gets them, good luck.
Unlucky.
Unlucky indeed.
So who's getting out second?
I still think it'll be EDG. I feel like one thing Chinese analysts have started doing is like
Downplay
not-
the region.
Yeah,
God, I know what you
Out
mean.
of fear, though, you can't. Do you remember LGD?
Yeah, dude.
I understand.
I did because after that season, I hated China.
Yeah, they're like they are gonna smash everybody. You don't understand, especially was it season 4 with Name as well? They're like Name is a god and he sucked, and they're like Clear Love is a god and he sucked. And
I
it's
don't
like
think anyone's saying that anymore.
no, but I mean like these were narratives heading into season 6 Worlds. It was like EDG with Name, or was that season 5 with whatever? They
Season 6 was Deft. This is the Deft Mako bot lane.
yeah. So season 5, I guess it was with EDG Clear Love was like the
Yeah.
gods.
So you think that because their analysts downplay their region, they're still pretty good?
I still think China is never bad,
Yep.
like straight up bad. Other than
Yeah.
season 5, which is unfortunately got hyped up, but like season 6, where like they didn't do that well, it's like
They're fine. They played both Korean
they
teams.
played both Korean teams, they lost. That sucks.
Yep. I think this is the hard, Chinese teams are always kind of the biggest factor for me because you talk about the analysts downplaying, and also like the region plays so differently from like
A lot of the
rest of the world, right? So it's hard to read, but I think AHQ is my definitive 4th. Second place is really hard, and I think it ultimately depends on EDG. I don't have a ton of faith, so I'm willing to give it to C9 at second, but I think it won't
Yeah.
be because like C9 has a better ceiling than EDG, I think it'll be because EDG is a less consistent team.
Right, and I personally think like C9 probably does pretty well in best of ones. I think of how they play, they're a team that like if you give them a lead, they can take a lead from you with Contrast playing the level that he's playing at right now. They snowball the mid lane, you don't have many options actually, and so like I just don't know the relative strength of China this season. I've not looked at them at all. I'm with you, man.
This is the year where every region just downplays, or every analyst downplays their region.
The only analysts that upplay their region are like the wildcard regions, where it's like, no, this is the year where Japan's gonna go off. This is OPL's. Okay, maybe not that one, but like,
no, they still were pretty hyped. They're like, we're getting out of it because one sucks, you know?
Yeah. But it's like,
yeah. To be fair, CB Law analysts were definitely not like top tier mechanical team.
They were like, can we send red candidates? Like, even though they lost,
Yeah.
can we do like a write-in vote?
Pain Gaming?
yeah. And so like, I want to go with C9 but I don't know enough about EDG to say much. I'll just go with C9 just cause I would want them to do well, but I don't know, man. EDG. From what I've seen of their highlights, look like a very good team.
Yeah, I would still take EDG over them most likely and put C9 third.
Okay.
All right. You want to do Group B?
Group B. This is the
is this the Fenerbahce?
No,
this is Fnatic.
Yeah,
So this is the group
that's
Fnatic got drawn into. First seed is from LCK's Longzhu. Immortals is second seed from
Immortals.
NA. Gigabyte Marines from first GPL seed, and Fnatic.
I hate this team. To guess. Right off the bat.
This is the most explosive group.
I hate this team or hate this group to guess because it's like, all right, well, Fnatic versus Gigabyte Marines.
Longzhu.
Yeah, okay.
The rest, who knows?
Well, Longzhu, I think will drop the game.
If there's any Korean team who has a style that just goes boom, it's Longzhu probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do think though, since it's best one, I don't expect the team to go undefeated in their groups.
No.
It's like a really hard situation to do that in best of ones with 4 different teams.
To be fair, I also don't have 100% safe that Fnatic or IMT will get second seed. I think the safe bet is one of them to get second seed, but I think that I wouldn't be totally surprised if Gigabyte Marines just.
I actually think this is a really weird group for Immortals just because they want to be really explosive in the early game. But that's what Gigabyte Marine wants to do, and that's what Longzhu wants to do for the most part.
Yeah.
And that's like
the only thing I'll say is that like I have faith in the Immortals Fnatic match. But after I've seen this, I'm just like, okay, the mid jungle need to play better than the other mid jungle. I think Xmithy's better.
Playing out of his fucking
yeah, I think
mind.
Xmithy's just straight up better jungler than Broxton. Doesn't need to be like handheld to make plays and can find his own like routes.
So yeah, I'm very scared for Fnatic in this group just because it feels like if the enemy jungler does crazy shit, Brox is just like and it feels like a lot of these teams have crazy junglers.
And this is a bad group to be like Fnatic because they kick my Marines is such. I would hate to be in a group with them in best of ones. You're just like, okay, well, we lose.
As long as Immortals don't give Jesus engaged champions on the bottom side and just play strong pushing bot lane matchups, I think the only way Fnatic win is through their bot lane. So as long as you take away their opportunity to either hard engage or to win a push war, you're fine.
Yeah.
Take Luluvaris, take J4, win the game.
Be the basic bitch, accept that you were the worst bot lane, and go. Ole is a god, don't get me wrong. Cody's son he's not going to outclass Reckless. It's just not going to happen.
Probably not.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like for this thing, this is the kind of the group where you watch junglers. I definitely think
that and top lane here is gonna be fucking lit. Flame.
Oh yeah.
Soaz.
Archie.
Khan,
baby.
I expect Longzhu to make it out first.
Top laners are going to die in lane
Yeah,
phase.
I'm telling you.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Watching his Jace, I was like, oh my god, dude, give the other guy a chance.
It was funny watching, like, I think it was Bjergsen's stream or somebody where Khan was in the game and it was like 10 minutes in and he was like 10 kills. You're like, what?
Yeah, he screenshots the last game. He's like, so I just got a game with Khan. This is the enemy Yasuo. And you look at the thing, it's like 0 and 19. You're like, oh.
This is like, to me, this is like the kill hungry version of Season 3 Flame, right? Where he's like playing Ken and he has 100 CS lead every game. Khan's like that, except instead of building CS leads, he just all-ins every chance he gets.
And this is like, the worst thing is LZ's playing a style where like only good teams can play. You're only allowed to play a style where you can go carry through top lane if your top laner is good. Yeah. You know, a lot of the weaker playing teams can't do this.
No, absolutely.
They play tanks there.
Well, so that's one thing we were talking about. I was like, Galio was picked a ton top in the playing stage, and we're like, why is he getting picked top so much? It's like, no one's good enough to abuse him. And Galio is abusable in top lane.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, and even teams like Fnatic, like they just don't put Soaz on carry champs. He almost always plays tanks
And-
from what I've seen.
Yeah. And so to be fair to Soaz is like, I think Soaz doesn't respect enemy jungle enough. That's his biggest issue. He plays trade super well.
Yeah.
He plays Gnar Camille super well. He's one of the few people where if you pick Camille and Gnar, I'm like, good. You don't need a jungle help to like
Right.
to win this matchup. But he also just randomly all-ins and dies. So it's like hard for me to still sell anyone on Soaz because he does get over
The
aggressive.
thing is, I don't think they're a team that is able to just blind a tank and be okay. I don't think any team is okay into LZ. Like this is a team
Yeah.
where it's like, good
I wanna
luck.
be red
Pray for red side.
Yeah.
Pray you get a
Yeah.
counter pick for top.
I think it's just gonna be down to junglers. They're gonna do a lot. They're gonna do a hell of a lot.
All right, so Longju, I will take Immortals
I'll take
number
Immortals
2,
number
and
two.
then I'll probably even take. No, I'll take Fnatic third.
Yeah, I think Fnatic would do well. The thing is,
They could end up over Gigabyte Marines.
Yep. And even Gigabyte Marines could do really well. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're watching this. It's a best of one setting, and then when you have an explosive jungler,
You've seen Levi at MSI. You know
we
what
almost
can happen.
renamed the show after him.
Yeah,
Like
Greatest Levi.
yeah,
talk show.
Greatest Levi talking. We literally almost renamed the show after him. He was that good, and so like, he's not a person you underestimate in best of ones. Their team in general.
All right, I'm just gonna say this is hard for me, but I'm gonna put a lot of faith in Fnatic because I've spoke to Broxa. I think Broxa is the biggest weak point, but I know this man has a good head on his shoulders and he can improve. And if Broxa step up, they're gonna get the second seed, and he is gonna step up. I'm gonna put my faith in Fnatic
Okay.
Wait to get out.
to get out. Second seed. They will not get first seed no matter what happens. I guarantee that.
Okay.
But they will get second. I have faith, but I'm not blind.
Yeah. Okay. So that's cool. That's okay. Obvious bias in the desk here. We got both the NA things, and no one here to support Optimus and.
To be
Vietnamese
fair, if
analysts in here.
just sweet justice will be if neither of our regions make it out.
Yeah,
Gigabyte
it's
Marines.
just Gigabyte Marines being like,
Yeah.
by the way, we're monsters.
Please no.
Okay, so Group C.
This was going to be the group of death. It probably still is a little bit. It has G2, Samsung Galaxy, RNG, and now Fenerbahce as well. So Fenerbahce's last.
Yes.
Good.
Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm scared for G2.
I am too.
This is the year they get first in the group.
Oh, baby.
I don't think RNG are that
I
great.
thought you said you weren't blind.
I'm not blind. I'm biased.
Oh, okay.
You're changing the definition or something.
No. Okay, so here's my thing, right? Is that there's two forms of G2 that show up. There's we suck at best of ones G2, or there's Trick knows how to play League of Legends G2. And I believe that this is the year
But
that
Trick always sucks in best of ones. He had to play Nunu jungle at MSI to cover the fact he was so bad in best of ones.
We're fine. It's gonna be fine. Trick's gonna show up. Listen, Trick's gonna show up. It's not gonna be Brush Trick. And if Trick does well, I think G2 can actually come out on top in the group. Samsung, I think, are a very good team. I think they will be first or second. I don't believe a ton in RNG. I don't think
Everyone just talks about RNG's bot lane, and it's like,
I don't think I think
okay, cool.
yeah, I think that they'll crush Fenerbahce and they'll win through bot lane every time they play Fenerbahce, but I don't think that they're
Sven is hard to crush.
yeah, you can't crush Sven and Mithi. They're never going to lose lane. That said, they're probably also never going to smash lane because they play so conservatively.
I mean, I can see them losing lane. I just don't think that they get like 2v2 solo killed. Like maybe you know RNG roams down there really well, or like Crown and Ambition like head down there and fuck them up. You know, but like I don't think it's cause
Okay.
just Uzi crapped on them.
Top two. What do you got, Mark?
Samsung, RNG, fuck G2, fuck Europe.
Oh my! I actually have Samsung G2.
I think that's actually the more reasonable
Yeah,
one. But I just want to tilt Europe.
Okay. So I got Samsung G2 because I actually think this is the 1 year where I'm like, I think G2 can do it. I don't expect them to get out first.
My thing is, this is the 1 year G2 have struggled even in regular season. I
But
feel
you
like
somehow think you're gonna get out? What the?
no, that's good. That's what I want. I want our top teams to actually have to work to be our top team. G2 show up and smashing it. They don't learn anything when they smash every
I
game.
feel like when a team struggles in the regular season, that's always good. That just means they don't care. Like I feel like that's what happened with TSM a little bit. Sometimes they're just like,
I mean, maybe.
we're gonna win.
Right, I'm taking it as a good sign because they smashed for like 3 seasons straight and then they struggled once, and I feel like it pushed them to actually like look at the way that they were playing.
Okay, I can kind of follow your logic train. You think they're in first in the group,
I think that first in the group, I believe
and the second is gonna be
Samsung Galaxy. Well, what else am I gonna? Really
No Korean team has ever not made it out of the groups of 4.
They're 9 for 9 in getting out of groups.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, like he predicted G2 first, so like he's
G2
already going.
I think he's so crazy.
He's already going to like.
I think
There's only one time they were the second seed.
I think G2 is gonna beat RNG, and I think Samsung's gonna lose to RNG, and that's
one time was
ultimately gonna be the
Rocks
decider.
Tigers in 2015, I think. Was when they got out second.
I'm just saying, like I follow your logic train, and I just follow.
You follow it off the rails.
Yeah, it's going like I see a straight line, and I see Daniel like going.
Like, just join in on the madness, Scarra.
I would
It's
love
the Polar
if-
Express. It's on a magical journey that.
I would
train.
love if G2 came out first. I honestly would love if that happened. But like,
Me too. It's great. I'm like pro Western teams. Like NA first. Let's go NA. But as soon as NA's out, I'm like Europe.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
I'm down. I would like the Western world to like do really well.
Look, so really, like, I really do think it comes down to Trick.
Yeah, 100%.
I-
If Trick is playing well, they have a chance.
And that's the thing, is I think that this is the year that Trick finally plays well. But ultimately, like, you have no proof either way, other than historically. And
Yes.
historically, if your evidence is Trick has sucked in the past and you don't want to believe in G2, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Like,
That's my problem is
I'm
that-
not saying this is a bulletproof argument.
All right,
Like, G2
what
will look
do you
better
guys
than
think
ever.
about Perks then?
I think Perks is really good.
I
I
think
think he has the same problem a lot of European mid-laners have, where like they get like a little overconfident at times. I mean, Jensen has that same problem, to be fair. So
Yeah, but Jensen gets a lot of help assistance from his team.
I think
Right.
I think Perks comes off as really cocky, but I think he's actually one of the most like conscious players. And like even when he's talking his own play up, he's looking at it really critically, and he like beats himself up over little mistakes, even in games where he smashes. So I think when it comes to Worlds specifically, like when he knows that the pressure's on, like he usually plays really well because he played really well at MSI too.
I was gonna say MSI was a great show.
He was easily. I mean, obviously the second best team, but he did feel like the second best mid laner. At that
No,
tournament.
he
he
was
played like a fucking god.
phenomenal
Yeah,
in that
so good. So I think Perks will be good, but that's kind of the biggest issue, right? Is that there's two shades of Perks, there's two shades of Trick. Expect is expect. He kind of just is there. He has some good games, he has some bad. The bot lane is constant, and this is a meta where the bot lane can carry, but it's not going to be in the early game, right? And I think that's if G2 collapse, it will be in the early game.
Okay. Group D.
TSM, Misfits, Flash Wolves, WE. The group got a little harder for TSM with WE showing up.
This is the hardest
This-
group to predict.
This is the expectation, though, that WE would show for this group, and with the expectation, TSM still has the easiest group they've ever got.
Yeah, you have no Korean team. Your number one seed is from the LMS.
Yes.
And, yes, you got China's 3 seed, but, like, that's better than Korea's 3 seed. I mean, like, maybe you would prefer Fnatic in the group, but you
Okay.
can't get that because you have, guess what, Misfits number 2, who I think are, like, really suspect. Like, I just feel like the way they got there was weird.
No. So I think the thing about Misfits, because I agree, I don't think Misfits are making it out of this group, but I think that Misfits are really good. They have a fantastic support staff. So when it comes to best of fives, I think they're awesome. And Power of Evil, very good. Maxlore is pretty good, and their top laner and their bottom lane are all over the place. And Hansama sometimes looks like a top tier 80 carry, and other games just looks like the most mediocre player on the planet.
So lost sometimes.
Yeah, and so it's hard for me to put faith in them in a best of one. If they made it out of groups and they had to play like a Chinese team in a best of five, I'd probably vote for them because I believe in their ability to prep.
Wow.
But I do not think in best of one, this team is just, I don't see any way that this team can be good at
The
best of
worst
ones.
case scenario is you're looking at bad teams in best of ones. Guess who we got from the NA in this group, baby? TSM. Historically, this team has sucked in best of ones.
Yeah, not good.
And a lot of the reason is because typically their adaptation with Parth over a series is good.
Parth is a data guy. And at the start of a tournament, you don't usually have great data.
Yeah.
Right. No, he's the type of person where both teams come in the first a game in a series with their best stuff, and TSM just gets like whitewashed, like by like some random strategy. And there's like, oh, I guess we're just gonna slowly adapt over time.
I guess we shouldn't play, the most bog standard comp ever of Ori, Maokai, Gragas,
Yeah.
Zaya Rakan.
Yeah,
You're
and then TSM adapts like twice, and the series is over. Like
Yeah.
they win. But so that's kind of how I see it. This is actually the only time I might say TSM might end first.
Yeah, I would say TSM as first or second is very, very likely.
Oh, they're getting out.
Yeah, they need to get out. If they don't get out of this group, it's just like blow the team up.
Yeah.
Blow it up. This team can't get out of any groups.
Yeah, I agree. I think TSM are going to come first. I think it's probably WE in second. I think a lot rides on. I really do not have that much faith in Misfits. I think that they can be a strong team, but I think best of ones is just a terrible format for them.
I would take Flash Wolves over them as well.
So wow, everyone's been downplaying Flash Wolves too, saying they're not playing. very
That's
well.
the thing is that like I don't feel
I-
confident in Flash Wolves either way. I don't feel like I have enough information. I feel like that thing you talked about analysts downplaying their region is definitely true.
It's so bad. Like, I cannot get any kind of idea on like where regions
I
are.
didn't feel like they looked too great last Worlds. I didn't feel like they looked too great at MSI.
I feel like they've been very
They're
much the
okay.
same team for a long time. I've heard it's less about Karsta this year and more about Sword Art, which is like kind of good. There's a lot of roaming playmaking supports, but also if you just get forced into an Ardent bot lane, like what are you gonna do, man? You
Yeah,
can't make-
I think
Rakan is great.
Yeah,
if
I
you
think
play it.
Karsa should be like the carry because
Yeah.
I can't imagine a game where Karsa plays poorly and they win.
Yeah.
That's actually like
I mean,
mind blowing.
this team was like entirely Karsa Maple for such a long period of time.
Yeah, this was known as the jungle. When you thought of jungle mid duos, they were the one you thought of.
Yeah.
Like before, like all others.
And they finally got a new AD carry, you know, and I think that should have been like this good thing. And MMD finally started looking better because like Stake was just such a good. Stake was
Yeah.
kind of like the high of the LMS, and that he was like a rock for the team and a pretty good in-game leader. So like he was always reliable. I'm glad that he's finally stepped back and kind of coaching because he wasn't fantastic, but there's still. I still feel like this team is all over the place.
Yeah, I think you're looking at TSMWE pretty much 100%. It's just the order.
All right,
And
Yeah.
maybe an upset, but probably not.
I'm with that. TSMW, get out.
Yep.
Cool.
Woo! We're done with our playing overview. It only took
About
2
About
hours.
2 hours. We talked about format too, though. Which
Yeah,
was
we
like
we
10
ta-
minutes.
We talked a bunch of stuff. It'll be a lot quicker going on. What did we think? What did we talk about doing for group stage? Was it 2 or 1?
I thought we were doing one each week. I thought we were gonna do one for play-ins, which we did now, and I thought we were gonna do one each week for groups, and then
Is groups 2 weeks?
yeah, because it's the first round robin, then the second round robin.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great. So every week we'll do something for this. I don't know if it'll be day of because I don't know if I'll be able to watch the games, like because I'll be asleep and then wake up. But it'll be either the day of.
Come
or
on,
the
man,
day
just
after.
fuck your sleep schedule up with me.
No,
Dude, do it.
no.
You live a different life when you wake up when there's no sun out.
It was so weird today. I was telling Scarra, I walked outside and I saw the blue sky, and I was like, "What is that?"
I like my normal sleep schedule where I go to sleep at like 12 to 1 and wake up at 8. I think I'm very
That's super healthy. I
productive.
respect that.
I'm very
or
productive.
Are you
bear with
still on
me.
the salmon life?
No, I'm on eggs now.
Okay.
Nice, dude. But you could just wake up at 4 p.m., stay and play like PUBG till 6 in the morning or 8 in the morning, then go to sleep and wake up at 4 p.m. the next day.
You can play Fortnite BR as well.
Fortnite BR, baby.
You guys are right. Really know how to kill it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Party animals.
We're out of control. We had one beer last night. Whoa! That's it. Anyways,
After the show.
a little bit of a rap party, you could say, you know.
Oh my god. Oh, wait. Are either of you doing group stages?
I'm doing group stages.
I am the only one from that broadcast team not going to China. I'm
That's
pretty
not
sure.
true.
Who else isn't going?
Pyra, Atlas.
Okay, never mind. A lot of people aren't going.
Yeah.
Wow, you think it's all about you, Mark?
Yeah,
That's
I
disgusting.
am the only one I am concerned about.
It's my first Worlds cast, so I'm excited. I did alt stream last year, which was
It was fun. All right.
it was fun. That is a positive. It was an
Oh,
interesting experience.
You almost said something. Dude.
No, it was good. Like we had a lot of good guests on. It was really fun, but it was kind of weird. It was like some of the games. It's like, how do we teach anyone about anything in this game?
Yeah, because it's like you're doing a jungle matchup and all of a sudden like
Top
it
lane's
doesn't
going
matter.
off.
Right,
Yeah, like
yeah.
top lane 6 kills up, and it's like, well, in this jungle matchup, when the enemy top laner has 6 kills,
yeah,
you
lose.
die. Fun fact.
Yeah. Okay. So Mark will be more available. I will probably have an easier way to schedule around. And best of luck to you, Daniel.
Thanks,
Yeah, thanks for coming on, dude.
Yeah,
It's been a lot
thanks
of
for
fun.
having
Wait,
me.
so you're getting flown out?
Huh? I'm getting flying out to Wuhan for 1 week of groups.
He leaves tomorrow,
Next day,
Really?
Sunday.
I leave Sunday.
I have no idea what day it is.
Wait, what day? Oh,
It's Friday.
Friday. Yeah.
There's no time when you wake up at 4
my
p.m.
Yeah, like I stayed up every day. I'm awake 2 days. You know, like
Okay, so that's a good question someone just asked. What do you guys think about the play-in format now that you guys have experienced it firsthand?
oh, so this is something not to shill out another show that I'm about to do, but at 5:30 I will be doing a show with Travis where viewers can call in.
Not to chill out?
Not to shill out too hard, but it's on twitch.tv/SLTL.
When is it? Would you say it's in
It's
17 minutes?
It's in 17 minutes. Maybe Travis will go live before we finish here, and I'll throw a host at him on Scarra's account without him being able to
Wait,
control
what?
But not to chill out.
But not to
guys.
chill out, guys. Just letting you know that I'm about to go
So
somewhere
if
else.
you ever question this man's dedication to League of Legends, all you gotta know is this is what he's doing every day,
Yeah.
every waking second of his life.
Yeah, at twitch.tv/SOTL Travis.
Yeah.
Not to sell out.
Yeah, I am not a sellout. None of my content is on my channel. This is on Scarra's channel. The other one's on Travis's. Other things on Riot Games.
You have no much money. How much money I make off this VOD? Just
Yeah, dude, you're gonna make
enormous
like,
amounts.
like $30 in ad revenue at most.
$30. You're pushing it, dude. I got like the top viewed VOD for one day. I think at best I made like $7.
That's like a whole burrito.
I can't even.
But not in LA.
Yeah,
'cause
not
they
in
have
LA.
tax.
I was gonna say
But in,
like
Portland, that's like a whole burrito, man.
Oh god.
So what I'll say for the playing stage is I've talked to a couple people. I've seen Reddit opinions. I think it is a good idea that you're making the third seed of major regions prove that they're better than wild card and emerging region teams. That's good. I like that part. I don't think I like selling it as a formal start to Worlds, because the hype of Worlds is seeing your best teams from your region compete against the best teams from other regions, and that's what Worlds is all about.
I think that's different though, because less of a world thing and more of like, let's pretend it's an Olympics thing. Then does your opinion change?
Yeah, but it's not the Olympics.
My thing is that I think that one area, just speaking from personal opinion, one area we could have done better this year is it's like, if this is Worlds, the big ass, crazy bitchin' opening ceremony should happen at the start of this, right?
Oh, I
Yeah.
was wondering what happened. You guys kind of just like rolled into it. I'm like,
Yeah, that was a little bit my bad. I was like so uncomfortable that I was like super low energy for that. But I think that like the thing is that it should either be 100% treated like the start of Worlds, everything should come online for it, or it should be a little bit separate, right? And the formal start of Worlds should be after plans.
yeah, because I was really confused because okay, I know China when they gotta show off internationally, they go above.
We
and
all
beyond.
remember the 3D
Yeah,
dragon.
And like, to be honest, watching like, some of these groups that didn't have a Chinese team in them and didn't look super hype, the crowd was like mediocre at the start of the day. Like the crowd shots were like, there's like
Yeah.
200, 300 people there.
Wait, did you guys see what happened for semifinals for the tickets? The tickets got okay. You're not allowed to buy finals tickets yet. You're only allowed to buy semifinals. They got released. They all got scalped. So they're selling for like $1,000 each. And I'm just like, that's so bad.
Yeah. So, anyways, I love the idea of putting third seed teams in and being like, prove yourself. Even if it is what happened with C9, they just shit on everybody. It's like, great, you deserve to be at Worlds. You proved it. Let's go.
I agree. I think I like that, especially because it also sets the status that like now these emerging region teams like actually get to play against top regions for their spot. I think it sets you up where you do definitively get the best of the best, and it's like we don't end up in a situation where we have two emerging regions coming in who probably aren't the best possible contenders for that spot, and instead we are getting the actual best contenders via forcing the third seeds to play.
Yeah, and so like HKA doesn't make it in. They get upset by Fenerbahce. Cool story. I love it. It's just it feels weird when like I said, it's the start of Worlds and then there's no SKT, there's no Korean teams, there's no anything.
I think it's a step in the right direction, but I think it needs a little work, right?
Yeah.
Complete agreement with you guys. I guess I was most surprised that there wasn't a ceremony because I only tuned in because I'm like, I saw what they did for the Olympics. What are they gonna do now that they got eyeballs on esports? I know they want to blow us away, and it's like there wasn't anything. What the heck happened?
Yeah, it was like they introduced the teams, which was cool, but there was no like, and here's like 7 artists coming out and like they're all dressed
Here's
up.
like the drums, we got like flying dragons and shit. Like I'm ready, dude. I thought I'd see some cool shit.
Yeah, I mean that will probably happen next week. I would hope.
I would hope to. I mean, I don't know. To be fair, not my wheelhouse.
It will
rumor has it that China has made an actual dragon in a lab to bring out for the world.
Is it fire breathing? Because I don't care if the dragon can't breathe fire. This is Komodo dragon. I don't care.
I'm telling you, man. There's no way that it will not be good. Like I can't even think. Like I don't know.
You can't even fathom it.
Yeah, no. Everything I think of when it comes to like showing off your culture.
China's about stunt.
Yeah, China really wants to be like we are like the best. Like if we want to present to the world, we want to show that we're the best. And I think that you're gonna see, dude. I know what happened for the Beijing Olympics, and the reason I know that is because my grandfather trained the people who did the opening ceremony. Damn. And so they did like 6-month training camp with 10,000 people. They cut 4,000 of them, and then the ceremony was 6,000 people. They practiced for half a year or something like that for that. So they like work their asses off for that. I'm not imagining that level of dedication, but I think it'll be like
We're in an entire season of the equivalent of American Idol, but specifically for singing in the opening ceremony.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
cut 1 million people.
I'm expecting some good stuff. Like I want to be blown away at least a little bit.
I'm ready. I have no idea what it's going to look like, but honestly, like, I know the people that work a lot on a lot of those things, and they make cool shit when they put the resources into it. And so I'm excited to see what it looks like too.
All right, I think that's it for today. Greatest League Talkshow. We're literally cutting into his new project
5:30.
very soon. So we are done for the day. I'd like to give a last shout out to Daniel. Draco's coming on. Daniel, if they want to find more of you, if they want to see more of you, where can they find you?
You can follow me at Daniel Dragos on Twitter. I have a YouTube channel. There's not a lot on it, but we're going to make more stuff once I'm out of Wuhan, so I'll be there.
Make a new Wuhan.
You can also see him on the group stage
Oh, that's true.
in a week
Good
at
job,
Wuhan.
Smart. Good job.
I got you,
Also,
dude.
I'm a caster. Yeah, you can watch
He
me
also
live.
has a Twitter account.
I said that one already. You
Yeah.
got it.
So anyways,
He's also at Riot Games.
yes, all that stuff, you can find them there. I'm Scarra. This is Mark.
Yep, I'll be going live in a minute on Travis's channel to talk
Where
about
is it?
Twitch.tv/SOTL Travis. We're going to be doing a call-in show for viewers talking about League of Legends stuff called Hotline League.
In exactly 11 minutes.
If you
It's already
feel-
been live for 30 according to Travis.
If you feel like you haven't been abused by Mark enough as a member of the chat, you can call in and get abused face to
Verbally.
face.
Yes.
On verbally, not face
Yeah.
to face. I don't want to say mouth to mouth. That sounds weird.
my
on the
mouth
show.
to your ear. I will be.
Yes, and this is my channel. You can find me on twitter.com/Scarra and follow me here if you want to see more of this stuff. We will be doing Greatest League Talkshow throughout the entirety of Worlds, except for maybe the finals, because I might be flying there. But
Spoiler.
we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyways, we'll definitely do it for group stage. We'll see you guys back next week.
See ya. I gotta get over here because I can't see the
Tilt the camera one last time for the people. Oh.
Wow, now that they're right at home.
Yeah. That's not the right scene. That's the right scene.
Oh man,